Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have Tony Rathman, and I hope I get this right, Ron Yacovetti. If I butchered that, I'm sorry, Ron. They are somebody I've been following. As you know, we've done a lot of different experiments on here in instrumental trance communication, or ITC, spirit boxes, something I've been interested in when I first started this show, and I still am. And there's a lot of new apps. We had Keith Weldon's Necrometer app on here last time we did an ITC show. It was awesome. All those videos are out now. If you had a phone call in, go to YouTube. You can find the response videos I put up there. I'm always looking for people to try new things. It's gotten stagnant in the ITC world a little bit. A lot of apps out there. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm looking for people exploring new ways of communication, and I'm really interested in this thing they call the Staticom project. We're talking direct radio voices here. White noise, enhanced, modulated, I don't know. We'll get into the technicalities of it tonight, but they are getting direct communication. It reminds me of the Marcello Bacci, if you know who that is. I think was where he would get the spirits to come through the radio. And I have some interesting clips that concern that tonight. We have a lot of video clips of their evidence that they've gotten, and it's some amazing stuff. You guys definitely got to check this out if you're into anything about spirit communication on their side. This is going to be a really interesting show. And of course, the World Wide Web of Weird. We got a lot of weird to get to tonight, as always. And I always have to lately figure out what I'm going to cover because there's always so much. But man, it's going to be a good one tonight. Got a lot to get to. Take your phone calls later in the show, but let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight's guests, Tony Rathman and Ron Yacovetti, will be joining us after the World Wide Web of Weird, after our first commercial break, to talk about their Staticom project, direct radio voice, or ITC. We haven't had a guest on in a long time, I think, just really somebody researching or getting into new ways of doing it. So I've been really excited. Me and Jamie were getting excited talking about this before the show. Speaking of, my beautiful co-host, Jamie D, is with us tonight. How you do tonight, Jamie?
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah, we're talking about the show, like, me and you both, like Marcello Bacci, if I'm saying his name right, that kind of communication, that's the stuff that really got us interested in ITC, is that, before apps, before any of that. And these guys have some video clips where it seems like Bacci is coming through to them. Really interesting stuff, so I am excited. Joining us as well from St. Augustine, Florida, and he's going to have his hands full because there's a lot of videos tonight from this from Tony and Ron, and Rob's going to try to help play these tonight. Is Rob? How you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing good.
It looks a lot less hazy than the sound.
I fixed it.
I won't say what it looked like, but it was a cool effect.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got a lot of weird to get to, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, I thought I'd start with this continuing story for us. We covered some of it last week. It's about A.V. Loeb's deep dive into the ocean to look for alien artifacts of a ship that possibly crashed there. I think, what was it, back in 2014? I can't remember now. It'll be in this article. We got this from Unexplained Mysteries because it's got the better short articles. A.V. Loeb reveals more details about his alien sulfurous discovery. Sulfurous? How do you say that? I don't know what that is. I am not a scientist, obviously. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup radio network, we are a webcast. We do stream out live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every Sunday night. You can come watch or listen, and I will narrate as best as possible. As you can see, not that great. All right, let me get the share screen up here. Rob's got.
I'm having an issue.
Uh-oh. Ooh. That one there should be it.
Okay, let's see here. Come on, open up. Okay. Here we go.
Just scaring me.
Is this the right one?
No, that's the alien Las Vegas. Should be article 1. Oh, and then we lost him. That is not good. Oh, geez. I think he hit the wrong button. All right, let me get it back. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, I did hit the wrong button.
All right.
Okay. Here we go. I'm on track.
All right.
This is what happens when you come in like in the last second.
Like, pshoo, into the sea, basically, is how it went. Yeah. All right. I'm waiting so I get to. I'll start reading once I get your share screen. There we go. There it is. All right. A.V. Loeb reveals more details about his alien how do you say Spherules discovery. Spherules.
It's in your bowl of cereal.
All right. Harvard astronomer seems more convinced than ever that he has found evidence of alien technology on the C4. Excuse me. Back in June, Loeb, who has been on an expedition to search for pieces of interstellar object that fell somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, published a blog article describing this discovery of mysterious metal spherules with a composition he claims is anomalous when compared to human-made alloys. Since then, multiple major media outlets have picked up the story and more details have emerged. We found 10 spherules, said Loeb. These are almost perfect spheres or metallic marbles. When you look at them, though, through a microscope, they look very distinct from the background. According to his team findings, the objects are 84% iron, 8% silicon, 4% magnesium, and 2% titanium, with the remaining 2% being made of trace elements. It has a material strength that is tougher than all space rock that we've seen before and cataloged by NASA. We calculated its speed outside of the solar system. It was 60 kilometers per second, which is faster than 95% of all stars in the vicinity of the sun. The fact that it was made of materials tougher than even iron meteorites and moving faster than 95% of all stars in the vicinity of the sun suggested potentially it could be a spacecraft from another civilization or some technological gadget. I don't know. I mean, it means gobbledygook to me what it's made of. Just keep looking, I guess. We'll see. They found a weird filament wire, too. Again, yeah, it's a lot of money to find out if it's, aliens are here or crashed or whatever, when I think they already are here. No, I honestly truly love what A.V. Loeb is doing. I think it's awesome. And I'm really interested to see what more results he got. Even though I do think the aliens are totally here in our face, and it'd be kind of silly if it does come out that way after all the money spent researching the bottom of the ocean floor for this. This next one, what are you going to say?
People need proof, They won't believe it until mainstream comes out to say it.
Yep. Well, speaking, we have, I've been seeing this go viral. Have you seen this?
I saw it briefly.
Yeah, it's been like in all my feeds, and everybody keeps. talking about it as like it's a leaked alien footage. And I see many people say, oh, that's CGI. So this has been leaked on the web. It's apparently from 2017. An alien grave was filmed meeting with a human being at Area 51. And this is like nighttime, supposedly, or some people say it's underground, or I don't know. There's some fence there, but you can't see anything else. It's black. And then there's this dude. Go ahead and play the video a little bit so people get an idea. I can't play the whole video.
Wrote a song
it's
about
too
this
long.
at the crossroads.
Yeah, making a deal with the devil. What I have to say from this is that, okay, so if it's CGI, which I definitely think it could be, it's very good. I mean, like, high-quality CGI, which takes money, time, and knowledge. If it's a suit, which it possibly could be, it's a very high-quality, expensive suit. I've been waiting all week since this has been going viral. I've been watching, looking to see if somebody comes out with a debunk. Like, no, this is from this movie. You know, like footage of the director talking to an actor. Because that's what I think of it. I don't think it's really an alien, but I think it's some high-quality stuff. I don't know.
Feller ain't got no clothes on, man.
Well, it's a question, who is this guy? I tried to zoom in on his jacket he's wearing, and it gets too degraded. I was trying to see, like, this is a close-up of the alien, like what the logo is on his jacket. Question B, who is that guy? You know, he should be identifiable. I can't identify the alien. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the detail. It's either really, really good CGI, or it's a guy in a suit, or it's the real thing. I don't think it's the real thing. But my point is, will we know? And I think if there is this leak happening, there's this internal war, and there's this movement to declassify or to leak stuff, then we do have to be on the eye for something like this to get leaked that would be real.
Dude, I'm just like, why can't the aliens be like the green girl that Captain Kirk got? Why they got to be these scary things, man?
That eye looks really
An
good.
Orion girl? Oh, yeah.
That's what
Orion
I'm
girls are
thinking,
the
aliens,
hottest.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
You see this in the middle of the night, you're going to poop yourself and go running.
You know,
I mean, this guy is not afraid at all, obviously, talking to him.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
I want to start calling out the fact that, you know, they're down there, it's dark, it's easier to hide things in shadows and, you know, go off on all that. But then there could be reasons they are in the dark. Maybe aliens, you know, need to be more in the dark.
Here's my zoom in of him. I was trying to see the logos on his coat and more of who he is. That's what I keep waiting for. It's like, oh, this guy's a director and this is from a movie and this is why. You know, I'm waiting for that to drop. Because it's high quality.
The eye looks really good.
I mean, yeah, I said, if this is CGI, it takes money and time to make something like that high quality. If it's a costume, it's right. The costume itself, if it's a costume, is high quality again, very expensive in time. So I don't know. I did say we have to keep our eye out for these things because there could be real leaked alien footage. I mean, Skinny Bob still argued about to this day if that's real. I couldn't tell you.
Well,
I've always thought it's possible.
Well, like when it's moving and stuff, and then look at where the bend marks are. Like, does it look like there's actual bones or tendons and they're moving with it, or is it part of the suit?
I did do that's why I did the zoom in, but I really can't tell.
I mean, if it is, you know, it could be fake.
I was trying to see, is it breathing? Do you see breathing in the muscular tissue and stuff like that too? And you know.
Do they breathe like us though?
I don't know. That's the question. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know.
Like, I've never seen one face to face to even say like what an actual real alien would even look like. So
we got to move on. I've just seen it viral, and I'm saying these things. You know, I can't tell you if it's real. I mean, I would think I would side on the fact that it's probably some fakery. But man, it's some quality fakery if it is that. But with no provenance and nobody saying I was the person there or this is it, and you know, then it's the land of illusion. I can't tell you. It's got to have provenance, which we might get, you know, because things are stirring in Washington. Before we get to that, though, because we're going to talk about that in a minute, here's another one I thought was interesting. This is a trail cam. I think this is the trail cam one that's next. Yeah. Watch strange set of lights. And I got this from Coast to Coast. Floating lights filmed by Trail Cam in Canada. A curious piece of trail cam footage from Canada shows a mysterious set of lights that rise up in front of the ground and then float across the sky. The peculiar scene was reportedly captured on June 21st on the property of Anne Vickers in the community of Caledon, Ontario. Sharing the footage with MUFON, she indicated that the trail camera was seemingly activated by a raccoon that was roaming around in their yard. Go ahead and play it here. And yeah, you see the raccoon. The raccoon doesn't seem to notice the thing flying over its head, but yep. They don't look like a plane. Way too many lights.
Yeah.
I have a zoom in on it. Just let it play. If you go forward, it'll go to a zoom in on it. Not that you can see much more, because it's a trail cam.
Those kind of trip out, though. It looks like when that goes over, like it turns.
Yeah,
around
kind of.
go the other way.
Like, what was that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's a plane. It looks pretty big, but it's hard to say.
Yeah,
What state?
quite.
Ontario. It was in Canada, Ontario.
There's been stuff going in the airs in Canada.
Yeah, I've been saying, it's the Midwest, Northern America. There seems to be a lot of activity. Wonder why.
Like, I ain't scared of no aliens.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Speaking of that, like I said, things are stirring up in Washington over the whole whistleblower deal, and we got more congressmen talking, and man, they're getting wild with their stuff. Washington gripped by you. This is the original article from Daily Mail. I'm going to read the Unexplained Mysteries one because it's a little bit shorter. Washington gripped by UFO fever as senators speak their mind on mystery. Several members of Congress have recently spoken out on the topic of UFOs and the secrecy surrounding it. Back in June, whistleblower David Gersh made the startling claim that the U.S. government had long been in possession of partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. This, coupled with other revelations and official discussions on the UFO phenomenon, has led to several prominent congressmen to speak openly about their own views on the mystery. Florida Senator Marco Rubio, for example, stated that he had been approached by several high-ranking government officials who claimed to possess intimate first-hand knowledge about the subject. He also criticized what he called very problematic lawlessness concerning UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs. There could be, in essence, some sort of an internal military complex that's their own government and is accountable to no one, he said. It would be a huge problem if it's even partially true. Yeah, because it would be illegal. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of history to back me up. They've been doing this kind of thing, even if you just even take UFOs out of the factor, okay?
Oh, yeah.
We've had back budget projects that have been exposed. We've done things under the books we didn't want Congress to see, okay? So that's been legal kind of crap's been going on, minus UFOs, but definitely with UFOs. During an appearance on ESPN analysis Pat McAfee sports talk show recently, Wisconsin Representative Mike Gallagher offered up the possibility that these objects could actually be ancient civilizations that have been hiding here and suddenly showing itself. I love these congressmen thinking deeply about aliens. That's great. He also suggested they could be flown by humans who have traveled back in time from the future, but also admitted that the most pressing concern was whether or not their evidence of advanced technology has been developed by rival countries. I am old enough to remember Dennis Kucinich running for president in the primaries of the Democrat Party, and all had to be said was that he openly admitted to seeing a UFO and ruining his presidential campaign, and here we are now. By the way, Dennis Kucinich is RFK Jr.'s presidential run, helping run that. So go Dennis. But yeah, he got a real crap end of the stick. I wonder what he thinks now. I'd love to have him on the show to ask Dennis Kucinich what he thinks now. After ruined his career. He did, he saw a UFO and he was just honest about it, and it ruined his whole presidential bid. He was a whack job for seeing it, right? All right, now these senators are all getting imaginative here about it. Yeah, welcome to the party, pal. All right, let's move on. And as they do that, they like to wrap up. I would also mention that a lot of people are criticizing they're doing this to just help fund the military-industrial complex itself because, it's more money for weapons and that if we have to fear, either these things being from foreign entities that advanced us in technology or we got to face aliens. And then there's like all this kind of stuff I see when you see something like this. What is this from? JustTheNews.com, not a reputable source, but I will just say, this is their article, China's military is leading in developing weapons that disrupt brain functions, report. What do they use to do that? Oh, yeah, electromagnetic energy. I thought that couldn't break the blood-brain barrier, as they're saying recently. Yeah, it can. It's been used. And what I find funny about this article about China, and you know I'm not a fan of China, the CCP. You know, I am not a fan whatsoever. And there is a threat. But you know why that threat's there? You know why that threat's there? It's because you know why they're doing this, where they're trying to develop a weapon that could disrupt your brain functions? Because we've done it. There's evidence. We've been involved in that kind of research for a lot longer time than they have.
Check out HARP.
Yeah, right. Oh, they're a perfect example, Jamie. There's a lot more. I mean, we have been involved in experimenting on people for a long time. You guarantee it. Black budget stuff. So when we go China doing this, I'm sorry. They're just reacting to what we do, and we're really ramping things up. You know, you look at all your media and press about China. You know, because that's the next thing. Ukraine's turning into a hot mess, and they want that military budget one way or the other. Aliens, China, Russia, they're going to get it. Moving on. All right. And some people want to melt your brains. Some people want to upload your brains. This next one we've talked about quite a bit on the show, and the show Upload should tell anybody why they shouldn't do this. How uploading your mind to a computer might become possible. This is from theconversation.com. The idea that our mind could live on another form after a physical body dies has been a recurring theme in science fiction since the 1950s. Recent television series Black Mirror and Upload, as well as some games, and demonstrate our continued fascination with this idea. This concept is known as a mind uploading. And this whole article goes into the process. I don't have time to get into the different ideas of how they upload the TV show. If you haven't seen it, they literally zap your freaking head off your body. It disintegrates, and it's somehow uploaded. A lot of this, when you read it though, and what I've said before, it does not seem like you're uploaded. It seems like you're copied, and it's AI filling in the gaps. Read the article. I honestly think a lot of this is going to happen. They're going to have something similar to what they have in Upload, but it's a scam. It's not you. It's not your soul. You're not in there. You're going to pay a bunch of money for it.
Yeah.
So your family members can have you after you die, but it's not you. It's not you. It's just a copy. Whatever they do, it's going to be a copy. It's not you. It's not your soul. So you want to spend thousands of dollars, unless they're literally taking your brain out of your head and putting it in a jar and then hooking it up and put you in a Vanilla Sky kind of an environment. It's not you. And I don't think you should do that either. Don't do that.
I'm just old school. Remember me after I'm gone. Hey, he was a cool guy, or he was a jackass. You know, whatever. Just look at some pictures.
Now you can just talk to the jackass because he'll be an AI copy of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Down to the molecular T or something. I don't know.
No thanks.
No, thank you. But it's a money industry. I'm telling you, that's what they're going for. All right. And then we're already on the last one. So this one I really wanted to save to the end. Play the video. No, play the video first. Don't give away the punchline. All right. So I've seen a lot of people joking on this lady on the airplane. There should be a video, Article 7 video. Oh, he hit the wrong button. He hit the wrong button again. All right, we're waiting for Rob to come back. But I know a lot of you guys have seen, I hope really Rob comes back here in a second. Because this is the video, I know most people have seen it probably, is the woman on the plane who has the freak out. She sees somebody in the plane that makes her freak out. And a lot of people have been making fun of her. I wanted to play the video. I had to edit. I even had to edit it. I know Rob hit the wrong button. Come on back, Rob. Dang it. You really hit the wrong button. I don't know what happened to him.
Usually comes right back.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay. Hold on. Trying to get him in. Come on. Add a stream.
I didn't do it
right.
that time.
You didn't? Oh, that's not good. But anyways, this woman has they say, epic meltdown on the plane. And, people are like, drugs are bad, okay? I don't think, I'm telling you, as somebody, before you play this video, we got to make it quick. As somebody who has had experience being in public with a bunch of people and seeing something from another person that nobody else could see, I didn't flip out or freak out, but I've been born into the weird. I've had a lot of weirdness since I was little. If you've never had that experience, and you do, and you're on a plane, a place where, it's like William Shatner on the plane seeing the guy out the window. That terror.
There's a man on the wing.
There's a man on the wing. That's this woman. Go ahead and play the video. You need audio. People need to hear what she's saying. There we go. You can turn it up a little.
Here we go.
And you can
There we
sit
go.
on this plane.
Yeah.
I with them or not. I'm not going to.
Bye. Now another guy's come out. I can't play the video. I just got it, but another guy comes out saying he was on the plane, and he saw her talk to a man in a green hoodie, supposedly, and that the man in green hoodie wasn't talking to her, but she was talking to him. It seemed like a normal conversation, except the guy wasn't talking to her. It seemed like it was weird. And then she has her flip out, and he says the guy in the green hoodie turns to him and blinks with his right eye, but then he realized the eye blinked this way. Now, is that BS? Some guy's just posting videos and he was on the plane. I don't know. One other person was on the plane, and a possible explanation for this, for freaking her out, was Carrot Top. If you don't know who Carrot Top is, I would think he's not human. Maybe she saw Carrot Top. Yeah. Oh, he's trying to find the Carrot Top photo. And it's not even a good one. It's like from 2009. I mean, look, you see that? That's going to be scary in a plane.
Like it.
He was not a happy camper either about the whole incident. He was calling her all kinds of names on Twitter. I feel bad for the lady, actually. And, my wife's like, well, why doesn't she come out and talk about it? I'm like, she's probably so embarrassed. This is horrible. If it's a mental issue she had, my heart breaks for her. I don't think it was drugs. You can hear the terror in her voice. The guy who does say he was on the plane with her says he did not see her drinking. He did not appear she was drunk, but others have reported they saw her drinking at the hotel bar. Who knows? Rumors will apply. This woman, can't defend herself even if she tried, probably. I know when somebody's terror. You hear her voice is locking up. Yeah. Okay. Now, some say she tried to get back on the plane when they got a different airline crew. Like they got on a different, they got rid of the stewardesses and they got a different set, that it was a stewardess that upset her or something. I don't know. Can't verify it. I don't know any of that. But I do the show to believe people and not to judge. And I hope this woman the best, and I hope whatever she experienced, she's able to talk to somebody who will be a friend and listen to her, because she sounds terrified. No matter what you believe she saw or happened, she sounded terrified. That's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight's guests, Tony Rathman and Ron Yacovetti, if I got that right, from the Staticom project, are going to be on after this commercial break. We're going to get into ITC instrumental transcommunication, or direct radio voice communication. Something that me, Jamie, and Rob all came together on 7-8 years ago as an interest. That's what brought us together as friends. And it's just something we share together as a huge interest of the show, why we do the ITC shows. And it's really what started the show. It's what I'm into, really. I've been looking for people like this that are really experimenting and pushing the boundaries. And I haven't seen a lot. And these guys are. They're doing something I think nobody else is doing and getting some amazing results. When we come back from the short commercial break.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It is called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Certificate A, now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
The international chart-topping, Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest, the true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guests are Tony Rathman and Ron Yacovetti. Tony Rathman, founder, lead investigator of Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations, EVP ITC Specialist, Staticom spirit communication researcher and developer. He prefers direct communication over other devices. Spirit communicator for the last 13 years. Tony was a skeptic until his wife asked him to try paranormal investigation. The evidence he captured on his first attempts has led him down the path of constant paranormal research. Ron, he grew up in New Jersey, began investigating about 14 years living in Los Angeles. This diversity of residents gave him opportunity to investigate some of the most notable haunts on both coasts, including the Queen Mary, the Oman House, the Stanley Hotel, the White Hill Mansion, Glen Tavern Inns. Definitely bucket list places for me. He has a unique background as a stand-up comedian, MMA, and boxing commentator, as well as being a writer and a paranormal investigator. Ron has hosted and interviewed in a variety of fields driven by a genuine love and connecting with others. He also believes in using all aspects of investigating his affinity in areas, especially in afterlife research, is ITC or instrumental transcommunication. We're going to get into that tonight, and we will open phone calls later, but there's a lot of evidence they've given you tonight to play. I can't wait. I've been so excited for the show, so let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Now I see we have one of the two here. We got Tony. How you doing tonight, Tony?
I'm doing great.
Do you know if Ron was having issues or going to be able to make it?
I'm not sure. I haven't received any message that he's not, so I'm assuming he'll be joining here shortly.
Okay.
Just check.
Looking out. Oh, by just looking at the message, I'll be signing in close start time. We just finished an event. But if you take a bathroom break and sign in, if that's okay. I didn't see that till now.
Yeah, I see it too.
We are on now. Well, he'll be joining us soon, hopefully. I'll tell him we're on now. All right. Just keep an eye out for this. Jamie, Rob, it's been a long time since I've had. Yeah, we can definitely. He'd be able to hop on here. There shouldn't be any problem. All right. So I was telling Jamie before the show that I kind of like stalked you a little bit on Facebook when I saw some of your videos of the Staticom project. When I first heard it, I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. I could tell it was something different,
Right.
I've been doing, we do live shows here with Spirit Box apps and that, and we get some really weird responses and really incredible responses. I've had responses come through not from a Spirit Box, but direct into the audio line of the show. We've had, I think what me and Jamie were talking about before show, that's what got us into it, was watching Marcello Bacci. And watching his direct voice radio communications was one of the first things that really got me solidly interested. So is Jamie. And it's not something you've seen too many people kind of repeat, because we always talked about that a person's a medium in this essence. It's not just the device, but a lot of times it depends on the person and their medium, the communication. So it's a hard thing to duplicate. He was doing like between 7 and 9 hertz, I believe, like tuning, so it's kind of his methodology, his energy. I mean, they took all the devices out of his device. There's no way he should have been getting any voices. Scientists expected it. I mean, some of the most incredible stuff came from Bacci. And then you send me, after I invite you on the show, you send me a bunch of videos, and we're going to get into those tonight. And I hear Bacci a couple times in this video, like he's coming through. And Konstantin Radovev, another founding father of ITC Communications. So I am down to get into this tonight because I feel like these, other people have had evidence of these different founders of ITC coming through. So I think that's really interesting. But I want to get into tonight, what brought you into this? What got you convinced of this? And also, curious minds want to know is, how does it work?
Sure. Well, my wife and I have been involved in paranormal and the ITC for the last 13 years. And for the last decade, we built our own spirit boxes, and we've never sold one. Everything that we built was for research purposes only. And over that 10 years, they advanced. We got them to work better and better and better. But we went on a 4-day 4-mansion tour with Ron and Lourdes, and he showed me this thing called direct radio voice. And I was absolutely blown away. After 10 years of working with spirit boxes, it was a night and day difference.
Yeah.
So after hearing it, I said, Ron, you gotta give me the background on this. How is this functioning? We went through every step of it. And I said, I don't think I can touch another spirit box. Let me help you advance this. And they jumped at it. And so Cherie and I joined Ron and Lourdes, who had been doing this for about 4 or 5 years prior to us getting involved.
Right.
And it was based off of Marcello Bacci, Frederick Jurgensen, direct radio voice. So instead of a scanning bot or a spirit box, which scans radio stations, it doesn't use radio at all. It sits on a blank station. Well, so we started working with it. We got it to work. We were getting unbelievable responses. And then one night during a live test, I pulled out a sleep machine that had white noise on it, and I tested it in front of about 30 people, and it worked.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, it's one thing to use. I mean, skeptics are going to go, "Oh, well, you're still using a radio station." It's possible. So my next thought would have been in the experiment is like, okay, let's give it a digital white noise. There's nothing.
Correct.
No way.
The radio sense has been removed. We have gone to a electronic white noise generator, which electronically creates the sound, does not give it the ability to pick up any signal, whether that be radio,
right,
walkie-talkies, baby monitors, satellites, nothing. They've all been erased. And white noise has no data in the field, meaning no voice data, no music, no partial speech, no vocabulary, no nothing.
Well, you know, I mean, this is the thing. I've been, when I first got into the paranormal investigation, my big thing was EVPs, you know, capturing it on a recorder. And my mind's boggled at different ways of how maybe they make that possible record. And I've experimented with white noise and to see if that enhances it. And I've always thought with EVP phenomenon is that they needed, like, you could leave a recorder and say nothing and let there be complete quiet, and maybe you might get something. But more often than not, more the evidence I got, it was usually within the first few minutes of the recording. Right. And it was always bouncing, I swear. I always compare it to like bouncing off our voices, off our reverb. I'm an audio guy. And you can hear the person's speech and audio stop and go away and the reverb, and you can see the sound file. You can see the sound wave come in from and go away from the person's voice. But in there, down in the lower frequency, you really can't see a spike on the sound wave or anything. There'll be a voice. It's like using something in the audio. I don't know, manipulation of the ambient sound. Sometimes it's been white noise, like even the white noise of an air conditioner or a fish tank. You know, it seems like they can do many different ways to alter or communicate through many different kinds of devices.
That's absolutely correct. Matter of fact, we tested recorded fan noise. We requested running water, rain, wind. I mean, we were driving around with mics hanging out the car window so I could capture that sound. And guess what? They all produced voices. The problem was it wasn't a constant signal. I mean, it fluctuated. As the car passed you, that fluctuation in the white noise changed. Therefore, made the voices harder to extract. Right. So that's when we went to the white noise generator.
The other thing I got interested in, I experimented with, was just using audio. What do you call it? Now I lost the what you term. Basically, using the phonetics of voice in a random generator. I had some interesting results with that. Now there's no voices. It's all just the mechanics of vocals randomly mixed up. And I did this on the Bell Guinness property and had some really weird stuff. But again, you're listening through a sea of its own like white noise. It's like white noise in itself because it's a bunch of audio of vocalizations coming through. And I've seen them manipulate that. You know, like I said, I've had audio come through directly into the show audio. You know, so I believe they can use a lot of different things. This seems like you're tuning in to something. I always think it has to be our own energy and that whatever device you're using, whatever, it's the meeting of the two, and that's what makes it hard to replicate. Do you think this is something that has to be built over time to use to communicate as like such other devices, or are people going to get, if they had this opportunity to use the same system you're using, they could replicate it pretty quickly what you're doing?
Well, I think it's a combination not only of the equipment, but of the user using it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a balance there, no doubt about it. The person using it is as important as the device. So, you know, will somebody be able to get a hold of this, turn it on, and get immediate answers? Some maybe, depending on their background, their history. Others, it may take longer. But we know for a fact, having done this hundreds of thousands of times and being able to replicate, duplicate, and get that communication, we know it's possible. But the thing about white noise is that it is every audible frequency from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. It's every sound the human ear can hear. Yeah. And they're all there at once. So the way we feel that this is working, and again, this is theory, but that when you have a signal going over a background noise where the signal is being displayed and at those frequencies, you won't hear the background noise behind it because the signal overlaps it. Well, that's what happens with white noise. And everyone always says, well, what hertz are they coming in at? They're all over the boards.
Right.
So having that full band gives us the massive amount of communication that we can get. We've actually had to limit that because it was overwhelming. It was too much. But what happens then is when they speak, their voice goes over the white noise in that frequency range. And then we get a beholding of that frequency because their voice is going on top of the white noise static sound, and it beholdens the frequency. So we get a higher frequency to noise ratio because the white noise ratio doesn't increase, but the signal does. So the voice overpowers then the white
is
noise.
this a stochastic resonance effect? Because that's something I've always been interested in. Yeah.
Absolutely, it is. It is.
That's why that's what when I first heard your clips, I started looking at what you're doing, because that's something I've always been interested in. When I did research with white noise, is basically taking a weak signal and amplifying it with white noise. That should amplify the weakest, should push up the weak signal.
Right. The other really interesting thing about the white noise is it is the signal. And one of the things I was always super curious about, I mean, Nikola Tesla said, as a scientist, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Well, guess what white noise is? Energy, frequency, and vibration. So the components of white noise were a perfect fit.
You're right.
And what I wanted to know was, what is white noise at each frequency within it? What are those sounds? Are they tones? Are they pitches? No. Guess what we think they are? They're voices, all at a standard.
I'm going to tell people right now, you're going to hear it tonight. You guys gave me a lot of videos I think are very convincing of this. One thing I would, I want to know, I have to ask this because I didn't really get to talk to you about it before show. Are you guys able to do live stream tests of this?
Oh yeah, we've done live stream.
Would you be able to do one tonight?
No, we don't have it set up.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We could have, yeah.
I should have. I didn't think about it. I was so excited to have you on, and I didn't think about it. And Jamie's like, "Did you ask?" I'm like, "No, I forgot. I should have asked." That's all right. No, I totally understand. But this is another reason to get you back on to do that. We can spend a lot more time because I wanted to get more talking about it and show these videos tonight. But I want to plan if you guys are up for it.
Sure.
Because I'm convinced from the videos I've seen. I think the audience will be too. For a future date for you guys to come on, we're going to take phone calls later in this show. People can ask you questions about it, but sure. To have you back on, you and Ron, and have people call in, because this is why I do the show. A lot of people do videos and ITC, they communicate with celebrities and do that stuff. I got into to let people. I purposely set up my phone lines. I jury rigged this system to have people call in so they could have an opportunity to see if they could connect over the internet, over the phone lines, because I believe there's no time-space issues for them to hear us right now or to communicate with the people that call in. We've had evidence plenty of that. So I'd love to have you guys on to do that in the future.
We can gladly do that, and yes, it does work. I mean, the 3 team members or the 6 team members of EVPE, we're all in different states. Sheree and I are in Phoenix, Chris and Audra are in North Carolina, and Ron and Lourdes are in New Jersey. And we've had Chris hold up a word written on a piece of paper.
Yep.
And then they'll go look, come back, and they'll answer via Ron's Staticom, and it'll come over the entire broadcast. So yeah, we've done that many times.
Yeah. So another reason to get you back on. All right. So now getting into this, what are you doing to kind of tap in? You're playing white noise, but you're modulating it somehow. You're doing something to get these kind of responses. What's exactly going on? I know you don't have to give away any secrets or anything, but just the basics.
Yeah, I mean, we have a full documentary coming out here, hopefully this month, that goes through each and every part of it. But we modulate the frequencies within it, whether that be for noise, whether that be to zero it in on specific frequency ranges, if that's where we hear the voices coming in. Because like I said, if we just let it run full, there are so many voices trying to talk to us at once that it's overpowering.
Honestly, I have an ear for it, doing the EVPs and doing Spirit Box. I edit the videos. When we have callers come in and we do whatever devices, I always go back, edit, tag, and try to do my best of what I think I hear. So I got kind of an ear for it. And I was listening to some of your videos, and I'm hearing the stuff you're tagging, but I'm hearing other stuff in there. There's other voices saying stuff.
Oh, absolutely. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah. I mean, you got to imagine whatever is going on the other side, or this communication trying to happen. There's evidence that there are people that are on the other side trying to help this communication.
Well, and that, if you know anything about the different stations, the North American station or the European station or the Brazilian station, they say people like Tesla, people like Marcello Bacci, people like Radave, that's exactly what they're doing, is they've got their own stations elsewhere trying to communicate with the people down here, trying to communicate.
I think that's so fascinating. Now, there's a lot of people, I mean, I was talking before, like with Radave, there's the famous George Meeks phone call that supposedly he called him. And George Meeks, of course, has the Bill ONeill, thing too, which I don't know. That seems like that could have been faked. I don't know. But nobody reproduced Bill ONeill's thing, just like Bacci. And that was using 13 different signals,
correct.
Yeah. But there's a lot of speculation to that he faked it. I don't know. But it was fascinating to me just as much as Bacci was. But it seems like Radave was coming through to George Meeks. You have Bacci now, who's, I forget when he passed.
2000. 2020, Bacci.
2020. I know it wasn't that long ago. Yeah. These people are involved in it. Frederick Jurgensen. I've heard. I've even heard Edison. If you look into the Skull Project, have you ever seen the documentary on the Skull Project?
Oh yes.
Edison was coming through on there with the writing on the film. There is some kind of force on the other side that's trying to make this connection happen. I've felt that.
Without a doubt.
When I first started testing this stuff out, when I was trying to set up doing this show, I was just testing it out, and I said, I had a grandmother had recently passed, and I just said, "Grandma, are you there?" And I heard, just to convince me that this was real, I think, I heard her voice come through, say, "My beautiful boy," which was her last words to me. People, there's certain ways, what we've been doing, and I have people that call in, they get these kind of messages, and they'll tell me after they hear me put up the video, go, "Oh, it said this, and that means this, that connects," and sometimes they hear it live on the show. This, what I find is more close, and the reason I bring up Bill ONeill, fake or not, is closer to that kind of responses. And Bacci, where it's not just a couple phrases or words, it's a sentence. It's a communication.
Correct. That was the difference between Spirit Box, was you always got short responses. When we were doing DRV, which we don't call it that anymore because there is no more radio, it's now Staticom. But Spirit Boxes had short responses, a word, two, maybe three if you were lucky. This method will give us full sentences. In fact, I've had conversations as long as 7 minutes. But Dr. Ernst Sinkowski, when EVPs first came out and even ITC and DRV began to take root, they called everything EVP. Well, he said no. When there's two-way communication, we need a different term. And that's where ITC came into play. And that's the absolute amazing part of Staticom, is that you can literally, truly have a two-way conversation.
When I see your videos, I see you guys have software up and stuff running. I used to be, I'm a musician, and I've used special effects, or sound effects, and different modulations I've experimented with. We did a thing on the show where we used no audio but our own voices in reverse, basically, and got some interesting results. There's different things we've experimented with. What I'm interested in this is that you're taking the white noise, you're modulating in some way to get voices out of it. Are you slowing it down, or what are we doing? Are we adding another, your signal to it, or?
We've done a ton of things to it. We boosted the white noise to increase that signal. We filtered the frequencies. We took away noise. We have a bunch of programs running that isolate the different sounds that are coming through. And yes, we did something that no one's ever done before, and that was to slow down live white noise. Why did we do that? Because some of the messages would come in so fast that the human brain couldn't even process it, let alone a human vocally trying to say it. There's no way anybody can speak that fast. So Ron got a message that he thought it said on, meaning his machine was on. And he said, I got to find a way to slow this down. And he brought the idea to me. I said, okay, I think I know what'll work. I gave him the components and we accomplished it. But it didn't say on, it said Ron. And there were full sentences after it. It was his mother. It said, Ron, it's your mom. And then she was with his grandmother, and then she spoke. And it was, Ron sounds like he's drunk on that clip, but their voices sound like we're speaking now.
Oh, because you slowed it down after the fact to listen to it? Right. So, but now when you do it, you're slowing it down in real time.
Everything is real time. So basically someone doing EVP, they record and then they review. Then they try to clean it up. Then they try to bring the voice more potent, bring it up in volume. We don't do any of that anymore. It's all done live in real time.
That's awesome. Because I've thought about that, like trying to like run it through like just a modulated a slow effect, like slow guitar, like the slow down the audio, and wondered what that'd be like. That is interesting with white noise that you're getting this more by slowing the audio down.
Yeah, well, sometimes they speak, like I said, so fast that, we'd slow it down 25, 30, 40%, and then we'd realize we could hear the full sentence.
I wonder, let's let me get his share. He's got the share up here. Let me get the video, start getting to some of the videos. Now, you can direct Rob here where to go. I gave him all the files there if there's a certain one you want to start playing. But I want people to start hearing this to get an idea of what we're talking about tonight. First, like I said, I've always believed it's a two-way thing. The Skull Project we were just talking about, they had to build up that communication over years.
Right.
Do you feel like it's getting more powerful because you guys are doing it more and more and more, making it like a connection?
I think the connection was there. I mean, Sheree and I did Spirit Box ITC for more than a decade before we started this. So I think that definitely already had that connection there. Ron and Lourdes, the same thing. They had been involved in the paranormal and different communications methods. So instead of starting from scratch, all we did was move a step up, and then those connections continued.
All right. Did you have a certain video you want him to play first?
No, that one's fine.
Okay, go ahead and play this one. Maybe check the audio, and I'm not hearing it. No, nothing yet, Rob. Sure you're not muted on the other thing? I remember you... Well, we had audio going for the other videos tonight. No, why not this? Give him a second here. There we go.
I was muted.
That's why.
Spirits, can you please try to communicate with us through this device? Who's watching?
No, you hear that. Ask me to be nice.
Bachi. That was clear. Do you want us to do the rumble?
Bachi, are you keeping track of what we're doing?
Marcello, can you see us?
Yes.
Thank you.
Machi coming. Now, for people listening on the radio,
You started this method. It's working. Can you please try to communicate with us?
oh, that was clear. For people listening on the radio, you should have heard that last one, I would think. But you do tag these. We tag them. We tag ours when we have people call in. We do the review. And some people criticize that. But, yeah, that's clear.
Yeah, we've heard that too. Oh, you're putting up the words. You're going to make me think that's what I'm hearing. We did a test where we put up all the wrong words and people left and right. That's not what it's saying. That was a test. So you may read it, but guess what? Your hearing is not that fallible. It's not like every day I struggle and go into work. My boss says you're fired. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a raise. That's fantastic. It doesn't work like that. Your hearing has ability to either accept what you're being told that it's saying, and you also have the ability to go, no, I didn't hear that at all.
Ron's almost on here. He just messaged. Oh, can't wait to hear. Because can you play that last part again? I want people to hear this part. That last part, because there's no denying to me what it says, how clear it is. And this is coming from. Remember, if you're just joining us, pure white noise.
With us.
I say glad to meet you. If you're not hearing it. I mean, I have an ear, so it's quicker for me to pick it up. It's quicker for Jamie and Rob to pick it up. It's quicker for you. So sometimes it is. That's my reason I tag, is because you don't have an ear for it. It's hard just not to hear it.
Right. Correct.
I always notice too, when we do like any kind of app, box, or whatever, I feel like a lot of the messages always come in either like in the low end, below the actual spirit box sound, or in the higher end, like way above it, like way louder, like in volume range,
That is absolutely correct. And that's one of the first things we noticed when researching spirit boxes for the last decade, was that even when it was scanning radio, they weren't manipulating the sound bites within the radio frequencies. In fact, it stopped them from speaking because the radio killed the white noise, the milliseconds of white noise in between. And where they'd speak came in either higher frequency or lower frequency than the frequency of the radio band. That is why we don't touch Spirit Box anymore. It can't compare to this.
Yeah, because like you're only getting a phrase or a word here. I mean, I've gotten some almost sentences and stuff that's come through and some amazing stuff, but like not that long,
Right.
All right, so what's the next video you want us to play?
Doesn't matter. That one's fine. I'm not sure which one that is, but it's fine.
I don't know if that's a picture or a video. I can't tell. It's a video. It's a video. Go ahead and play it.
Can you say Tony?
Anthony Rathman. Turn it up a little bit.
Did you just say Rathman?
Oh, it's all the way up. Okay.
Yep. So you know who I am. Can I know who you are? Yes, sir. Thank you. Who am I speaking to?
Was it that name have a meaning? The name it says there, Chip Padman?
That's the name he said. He said, I'm Chip. I asked who he was. Who am I speaking to?
Mm-hmm.
He gave me first and last name. So did the other one.
Yeah. Oh, Harold Patter. I missed that one. Did you guys find out any significant with those names?
Well, the first part is my spelling correct? What spelling is their actual last name?
Right, true.
So it's quite difficult.
Hard. That is interesting. You get the first and last name of two different people. What were you going to say, Jamie?
And you can get the emotion in the voice too.
You can get, and that's one thing we've always loved about spirit communication, is before I even hear what they say when a response come in, I can tell if it's male or female. I can tell if it's an adult or child. I can tell what language they're speaking. I can tell if they have some sort of dialect or territory accent. I can tell their emotional state, how the words are being produced, what pauses are being put in before I even hear what the response is. So the amount of information that can be retrieved from a voice response, to me, just does not compare to any other device out there.
Right. Well, that's what always made botches so interesting too. Is people were hearing their family members come
We've
through
had
it.
that
They'd hear
too.
their voices, and that, to me, that's the most powerful stuff. People do celebrity videos and stuff like that. That's fine, but I like seeing it when people are getting connections with their loved ones on the other side. That's
Without
the most
a doubt.
powerful stuff. That's the most
With-
powerful stuff.
Without a doubt. We do something called TDSI, or the Digital Seance Initiative.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your typical seance, but it's electronic. It uses Staticom.
I call it a digital seance too.
we've had people just break down into tears because
Yeah.
they've heard from a past loved one. We've had people come to us and ask a question in a different language, and then the machine changes to whatever language they asked in and answers them, and they just step back and jaw hits the floor. And but you're right, it's that emotional connection to people and lost loved ones. That's the real payout to all of this, because people say, well, are you going to sell this? No, we didn't do this to make money. We did it for the research. And
Yeah, this isn't an app people can buy, right? This isn't a program people can buy.
well, the program you're looking at is just VST,
Yeah.
which is basically virtual studio. It's like having a musician studio on the
That's what I
computer.
recognized when you were saying. I could tell you're running through some different processors there.
Correct.
It makes me interested. I'm like, I got some stuff too to play around with. Makes me want to get back into doing it. I used to experiment a lot with this kind of stuff and trying to different stuff. You can ask Jamie and Rob. We all would experiment with different ways of doing it. And time in life has gotten away from me. So I have much more power to you guys for really pushing this forward and continuing the research. Because like I said, the field's gotten stagnant. And it's not, I'm not blaming anyone. It's not easy. But it's awesome to see new approaches and something different, and that's because I feel like we are on the tip of the iceberg of really getting an actual communication, like an actual direct communication that's just totally verifiable. I feel like we could get there, that there's evidence like this that shows that there's something we're getting close, but it's going to take more research and time and effort to get there.
I just like seeing other people continuing different methods. So I haven't really been involved in the last 3 years because life has gotten in the way of things. And then I don't even watch videos as much anymore because it's just everybody turning on an app now. It's the same thing, just a different location.
We got Ron in here. We got Ron. I had to mute Ron for a second. I want to see because I was getting an echo from you. How you doing, Ron?
I'm good. Can you hear me now okay?
I can hear you. Yeah. We're getting a little bit of white noise from your background.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're out and about right now.
We had an air conditioner on. Yeah, we're in this is the birthplace of the modern spiritualist movement, Lilydale, New York. It's amazing here. We just finished doing an event with the Digital Seance Initiative at the end of it. And so we hustled back. I hate being late for these kind of shows.
It's all right, Ron. You know what I was saying to Tony is that I wanted to get into the evidence tonight in your videos, so I didn't really get into asking you guys about doing a live example of this. I want to get you back on again, too, if you guys are up for it, because we do this on the show. We do live ITC nights, and I have callers and phone lines. People call in. I'd love to get you guys back on to test this live on the show. I was telling that to Tony. I can only imagine what results you're getting in Lilydale doing this.
It was amazing. We had we did a Digital Seance Initiative event we started, and Tony's done them now too, because we were trying to, like Marcello Bacci did in Italy with direct radio voice, give people those moments of solace or connection. And we had 2 different women in tears. One lost her sister 3 months ago. The other one was a son. And they asked for specific proprietary things, information wise, and they got it. And
awesome,
man, it's humbling. Sometimes it's the greatest form of, I guess, compensation we can get for doing this, to give somebody those moments.
That's why I started doing this show. Is what I was telling Tony. Is I got in this show when I first started at 7, almost 8 years ago now, I think, right? Is that I had to figure out how to go live and have phone lines for people to call in. Besides covering weird paranormal topics and having guests, I wanted to do people call in and try to do the spirit box stuff I just started experimenting with, because I wanted to see if it will respond to them. You know, I thought the first time I was going to get nothing, but I got blown away. And we've had all kinds of weirdness, strangeness happen since. I was what got me interested in your device, or your I shouldn't say device, your technique. When I first heard it, it reminded me of the bocce. Before I knew you were having anything to do with Marcello Bocce. When I heard it, that's what I thought of. And then Tony sent me this Dropbox, or not Dropbox, WeTransfer, whatever, a bunch of files of your guys. And I started watching them, and I saw the Bocce replies in there. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I was mentored into this by Dr. Annabella Cardozo, who's in Spain now.
Yeah.
Everybody of ITC or EVP royalty, she sat with Konstantin Radove, Friedrich Jurgensen, Marcello Bocce, Robin Foy from the Skull Experiment. So she mentored me into it, and then Lourdes and I resurrected Direct Radio Voice. And then now we're obviously partnered up with Team Rathman, which has been awesome. Anything Tony wants to do, we're in. If he starts collecting stamps, we'll go, okay, we're in, whatever it is. They're great to work with. And so, yeah, this is derivative of what Marcello Bocce was doing. And we've developed it into something as pure, but the efficacy of what we're doing now is exceeded even what we thought when we started. So it's fascinating to us still. We're still not used to it, and as Tony always eloquently says it, we still don't know the limitations of what this is going to do.
Right. I mean, imagine what you're doing here. Okay, you ever saw, what was that Robert Redford movie that was on Netflix? Love it or hate it, The Discovery. Okay. Where he proves the afterlife scientifically, and then everybody starts killing themselves. That's a horrible part of the movie. but the idea is, if you could really open up a communication that really started to prove it, how that could change everything.
Yeah,
I mean everything.
Yeah,
I mean you have to have that in the back of your mind as a possibility that you're going to get that far.
Oh, without a doubt, it's in our mind, and our minds have gone places that we never expected it to go. One of the things Ron always said when we started to put this out was having him been involved in the fight arena. He said, when a new champion, or when someone's going up against a champion, unless he knocks him out flat, you gotta prove that you're a better fighter. But then he said, if you overshoot it, where he comes in and he knocks him out in 30 seconds, then people are going to go, oh, something's not right here. This is BS. So it's, you got to walk that line between showing them all the differences without making it so fascinating that it becomes skeptical, because this is as real as it gets.
For people just joining the show, I want to reiterate this to everybody. We've had a lot of people on about ITC over the years, that you guys are using digital white noise. You're not using radio anymore.
Nope.
That's correct.
This is white noise, people. Okay, there's no voice bank, there's no audio. I want people to understand that, right? No data. This is important. There's so much. There's so many apps, and I have nothing yet. We're friends with Keith Weldon. I love the Necrometer app we played a month ago. I love that stuff, but there's more we can do, and this is it. This is really it, guys. I really want to see where you guys go with this. And when is the documentary coming out? Do you know yet? Have a date or where we can find it when it does?
It'll be soon. That's all I can say. And it could even be this month. We're waiting. We've got some streaming channels reviewing it right now. We're trying to figure out who's going to take it, where it's going to be shown, and what we're going to do with it. So that's all the information I can say at the moment.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that the removal of the radio part came from 2 different episodes. The first of which was Lourdes and I did this in an underground zinc mine below the surface of the earth, where radios and cell phones and their signals go to die.
Right. There's nothing coming down there.
and we got voices doing direct radio voice on a barren long wave channel. And so we knew that the carrier wave or anything that had to do with reception of an RF signal had nothing to do with the frequency reception.
Right.
It was everything to do with stochastic resonance and white noise.
Yes.
Then Tony, in a very ballsy move, in my opinion, but that's any innovator who's going to do anything is going to take chances. And Tony brilliantly did so. And he did an event where he took a sleep machine with white noise. It's not generated, but it's pre-recorded on a chipcorder. And he ran it just to see what would happen instead of a radio. And he got vocals. And between what he did and what we had in the mind, we realized we don't need anything but the white noise. If we create it live, we filter it immediately and take the review process and put it into the moment of contact. There's no opportunity for contamination.
Yeah, we were talking about stochastic resonance, and I've always felt in EVPs it played a big factor and how they were recording on our devices.
Correct.
And I always thought for ITC, instrumental communication, that's what we had to delve into. You know, that's really what, I mean, my first mentor in EVPs in paranormal field was really big on using white noise with your EVP recordings.
Yeah.
You know, there's something in there. There's something about making a weak signal stronger with the white noise, amplifying it.
It's the same thing too with direct voice phenomena, where you go to a location, you actually hear somebody speak. It's the same thing. White noise exists in the environment.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier.
If they can do it via chipset, there's no reason why they can't do it with white noise in the environment, and that's how you hear it with your own ear.
Now, like, you know, you mentioned the Skull. I mentioned Skull Project before you came on, but Rathman Founder, before he passed away, I had a little bit of a correspondence with him because of time zone things. I never could get him really on the show, but he seems such like a gentle soul.
I spoke to him a few times. He was a very nice man.
You know, I've been interested to see, you know, people that are involved in the Skull Project like Rathman that have now passed on. Are they going to start coming through? Because, I mean, you got to think about what those guys did. They spent years of their life developing like a very strong communication where things would be airporting. And you're talking about film being written on. And you had scientists and illusionists try to disprove this. Nobody could. Okay?
Nope.
You know, these guys are just like Rathman. They're just like Bocce on the other side. You know, you wonder, you know, if Robin's going to try to come through is what I always wonder. You know, are you trying to reach out to anybody besides Bocce, like or Rathman, or do you try to reach anybody, or they just come through on their own?
We ask for the ITC pioneers that are on the other side to come through. I got a vocal that I recorded when it says my name, and it gives a message, and it sounds like I matched it as best I could to Mark Macy. And George Meek had gotten phone calls from Konstantin Rathman 20 years or so after he died.
1994.
Yep, and I matched it to that, and it sounds very similar. So we do try to reach any of those who know what we're doing, who have crossed over.
Yeah, you know, George Meek is a kind of controversial figure in the ITC world with his involvement with like Bill O'Neill and the SpiritCom. I still don't know what to think about it all these many years later with Bill O'Neill. I get the skeptics and their points of view on why that's possibly a hoax, okay? But I've always been interested in it because I'm like, well, if it's hoax or not, that's what we're trying to achieve. What he was doing was that direct kind of communication, you know. I don't know if that was real or not, but I do believe in the possibility of it being real, that somebody can do that. And we talked about earlier before you joined about Bocce, you know, being part of that medium, that you guys are also part of that medium. It's not just the method or technique you're using, but it is your energy, your thoughts, your intent that gives it the power.
Morphic resonance, yeah, absolutely. We think that's a part of it. Consciousness is part of that also.
I mean, have you guys had this experience? I know people are like, "Whoa, show more videos." Sorry, I can't help but get into this talk. But have you guys had this experience where, and we've had it on the show, I swear I'm about to ask a question on the show where we've run our Spirit Box apps and stuff like that, and it responds to me before I ask the question.
Yes.
So these things are telepathic.
Yeah, well, so what we think that might be is something that's called superluminal contact, which is faster than the speed of light. And if you ascribe to the notion of collective consciousness, where we're all part of the same, like let's say like a big body of water, and your own self-reflective egoic experience is the part of, like say like on a radio band, the part you're tuned into. You tune into a certain station, the rest of the band still exists, but your egoic experience is here. So if we are all tributaries off of the greater body, which is consciousness, then the information and the answers in instances like that are not traversing distance with time space the way we think they are. They were already there, and it's being culled from what you're already connected to versus having to traverse in some kind of a communicative way, which we're used to. And that's even something that, to a certain degree, with wave function of light, the photons of light have wave functionality, could also be a part of it. They use that. Yes, they use that with even with cable television, right? Verizon Fios uses data on light fiber optic to get the signal to you without the degradation that metal has from heat and vibration. But when it gets to your home, it's slowed down to electrons because we don't have processing chips that can handle speed of light data yet.
Right.
Yet. Yeah, you say yet, yeah. Or we
There's
might
a
already.
university. There's a university in Arizona. In Australia, that has experimented with a certain way that it slows down and reprocesses data at the speed of light. It has obviously not mass produced or commercial grade yet, but the possibility is there.
All right. Well, we're going to go to commercial break here in about 7 minutes. I want to play another video before we go. Do you have a certain one you want to select yet, or do you want to just play this one? I think he's got up right now.
That's fine.
All right. Go ahead and play this one, Rob.
Spirits, what religious holiday is tomorrow? Easter. Thank you. Yes, tomorrow is Easter.
I heard it say Anthony.
Yes, it did.
That's Jesus. Yes, you are right. What did Jesus do on that day?
He rose from what?
Yeah. Have you seen Jesus?
I haven't. Where is he? That's not reassuring to some religious faiths out there.
No.
No,
but
but
it says. Go ahead.
It shows you the real method of that. It's two-way communication. They were answering everything I asked.
Right after. It's not like you're waiting a long time for it either.
Correct.
Yep.
You know, and like I was saying when I was reviewing your videos, and I was telling Tony is that you guys, he was talking about how you slowed it down, like slow it down.
Yes. In
real time. And I think that's so fascinating. But I was telling him, because he says he also, like, you're getting so many voices, you have to, like, narrow it in. I was like, yeah, I'm hearing other stuff in there you're not tagging. I heard it say Anthony Rathman in there that you guys didn't tag.
It did. It's difficult we've done band passes and certain things with the audio to try to eliminate. We used to have more voices that would come through. And that was something that we did that was not done previously in ITC history. Was early, from Rodabay, and they said that vocals would come through not only faster than you can detect, but faster than the human vocal tract is capable. I don't care if it's an auctioneer on cocaine; they can't talk that fast. So what we've done is we took live white noise, and I asked a lot of ghost box builders, how do I slow live white noise down? And nobody had an answer. And I said, there's got to be a way through some component.
I could give it an answer.
So we came up with something, and then Tony found the specific one we ended up using. And we don't really have to do it in review anymore, which is the whole thing that we have done. We took the review process and we moved it to the moment of contact. Because if ITC is supposed to differentiate between record and review of EVP for real-time dialogue, we want to do all that stuff we do later on now.
Right. Because then you can have an actual conversation. That was the point. To have that conversation. That's what, like I said, the Bill ONeill theme, fake or not, that's what we were striving for, is that back and forth conversation. If he was using a voice box as he was accused of, I don't know. But that's what we're striving for. That's what we want. I will admit, most of the time, the good stuff I get is on review, not in the actual real time we hear. We have. One of the best ones did not come from a spirit box, came right into our direct audio many years ago. It was my friend Rhodey called in, and it was saying her friend, their nickname was Peanut Butter and Jelly, and it said it more than once, But that came from no spirit box. We had a spirit box going at the time, but it had no echo or reverb on it, which the spirit box did. We knew it was there. That convinced me they really can. The power is there, the connection's there. They can come through, and that's what I want to get to people, because I see so many people like one trying out spirit boxes. Like, I hear nothing, I get nothing. I'm like, one, you have to review. So many people think, unless you got what you're doing, Most of the time, any kind of other app device, you're going to get communication, but you're going to have to review it.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to hear it real time like this.
The thing we found out, I'm sorry, I was going to say that we found out was through stochastic resonance. We think that even the ghost boxes, they don't use the fragments of sound because usually the vocals come in at decibel levels that are either below the sweep frequency or above where it replaces it. And we think that the methodology, while it functions, actually truncates the length of the messages and gives a brevity to them because of the sweep.
Right. Oh, no, I totally agree. And I was telling that to Tony that if you notice, when you listen to Spirit Box replies that were really meaningful, like it's something that came through, either through a SB7 or even through an app, they're always in the either lower end of the audio or the higher end.
Yeah, where it resonates, that's where it's come through, and it's regardless of where the decibel level of the sweep itself. And academia looks at that and they go, well, they discredit it because they think it's distracting for false positives. Your ears are listening. It's like being in one of those cash booths when there's bills flying everywhere and you're trying to grab. There's a lot of stuff pulling your focus. And at the same time, they feel like if the building blocks of our language have certain phonemes and allophones that have to be in certain places at specific times to form specific words, that it removes free will from the contact. And it's debatable. I think if you get timing and relevance of something, even with a ghost box, I think it counts. But I think the efficacy of the method does not allow what this does.
Well, you mentioned allophones, and that's what I was trying to think about. The word term allophones. I have my own app developed by Matt Payne in England called Raven. You could download it as a program, or he had it as an app you could download. I don't know if it's available anymore. But what it used was allophones. Mm-hmm. And I also set it up so you could use any kind of chopped up audio you wanted if you didn't want to use just basic allophones, But my idea was using that because I had some weird experiments I did on some haunted locations like the Bell Guinness where I'd use pure allophones. And I got some really weird communicate. Like you can hear it's a voice and it cuts in. And what I find interesting about your video, we got to go to commercial break here in a minute, but when you hear the audio come in, you almost hear a cut. And I don't know if you ever noticed that on Spirit Box or even EVP. Sometimes there's like a little pop or a cut sound, like the audio cuts in. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed that. It's like it's like it's cutting into it.
Yeah, in certain instances.
Yeah, not always, but it's like a pop or a cut, or it's like a change and shift, like you have a static sound and then it's gone and their voice is there and then it's back. We got to go to we do have to go to commercial break. It is time. We'll open up the phone lines. We're not doing the test of this live night. I am going to get these guys back on another date, and tomorrow I will send you some open dates for that to get you guys on to test this live. But tonight we're talking about, and we got more videos to play. There's some really good stuff, guys, tonight to hear. And for those listening, it might be hard for you tonight to hear, but I think some of these come through even to the radio audience, that you can hear some of these messages. You don't need the tag. Because some of these messages you're going to hear tonight coming through the Staticom technique are pretty clear. But if you want to come watch, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, the radio audience, and you can see the tags. But otherwise, listen tonight. We got some more voices from beyond when we come back with our guests, Tony Rathman and Ron Yacovetti, after this commercial break.
Into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Time to die.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID Jblandoo or Jblandparanormalsoup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guests are Tony Rathman and Ron Yacovetti, part of the Staticom project. If you're just joining us, you know we've done a lot of shows on ITC Spirit Box Communication. We have live shows where you call in to see the Spirit Box. We'll talk to you. That is not tonight, but I will get these guys back on to try out the Staticom project. But what they're doing here is something that is old but new. Like they're going back to the I think some of the foundations of ITC, like Marcello Bacci. If you're ever familiar with him, go look it up from Italy. His direct voice radio. They're getting deep into this with. There's no app. There's no voice bank. There's no radio signal. It's pure white noise being modulated, slowed down, and voices are coming through. Sentences, conversation are coming through. And we got more video clips of this tonight. You definitely are going to want to see or hear if you're listening on the radio audience. We got a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and get rolling back into it. All right, let me make sure I unmute everybody here. Thank you guys for continuing with me here. I want to get to more of these clips tonight, but I can't help but talk tech stuff with you and ITC because it's just something we haven't got into in a long time with a guest or guests that are really experimenting in it. You know, it's like some new app comes out, we'll try it, you know, or new box or whatever. But this is really like getting into the stuff that got me, Jamie, and Rob interested in ITC, this kind of communication. Do you have another video you want him to select we haven't played yet tonight?
I don't know what Tony submitted, but Tony can call the shots. I trust Tony Rathman.
Why don't you skip to one of Ron's?
It'll be titled Ron. It'll have Ron in the title, or
yeah, any of the blue ones.
The blue ones? Oh, with the blue title? Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
you see the
I
one
can
that have like
see
the
them
title
now.
screen?
So
yeah.
if you,
yeah, that's one of his.
That's actually Damnation. That's 1 minute and 8 seconds of the same voice on a rant at the Shanley Hotel.
Oh yes, definitely this one.
I have not, in my experience on ITC, I think Tony would concur. I've never seen a ghost box do the same voice for 1 minute and 8 seconds on a rant.
Never.
Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah.
Not fair, I heard.
Oh. It's like a warning. I know for people listening to the radio audience, you might not get it totally, but there's a number of things said in there that are very interesting, especially for, like you said, a 1 and 15 second rant. And I'm a huge Stanley it's one of my bucket list places I want to go to. I'm a big Stephen King fan.
It's actually the Shanley, not the Stanley.
Oh, I thought it was the Stanley. Oh,
no,
I'm thinking
it's
it's the Stanley,
New York. No, it gets confused
Shanley.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just my mind magically Stephen King fan goes to Stanley. So Shanley, I've not heard of this one. Well, that is, it's like it's warning you, like, don't mess around with this stuff. You're going to bring demons. Is that what I'm getting out of that message is trying to say?
We took it as a cautionary message to how society today with the paranormal glorifies and celebritizes the dark and demonic like it's something cool. And, don't do that. Like don't take it lightly kind of thing. That's what we took it for.
I want to play it. I know it's 1 minute 15, but I want to play it again. So just get some of the idea for people to hear it again that maybe are listening on the radio. Go ahead and play this again.
Not fair, I heard.
That is so fascinating.
Plus, with that expression in the voice, it's just
Yeah.
When we reviewed that, I was listening to it on the computer, and my girlfriend Lourdes, who's my other half of this here, was in the other room, and she hears me cackling. She goes, "What are you laughing at?" I went, "The guy's still talking."
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is amazing. And that's white noise. That there should be no voices there. No matter how much you modulate it, we should not have voices there.
Correct. There should be nothing there.
And it's like it's frustrating because I don't know the Shanley. What's the history behind that place? A little bit, just quickly.
It was a speakeasy brothel, Irish mob, Underground Railroad supposedly I think went through there as well. It is one of the most consistently active places we've ever been. We're dying to get Tony and Sheree to come out to go there. It's a really cool location.
I'm just, these. I will always say, it's been a long time. I used to go a lot of ghost hunts and paranormal investigations, but the places that are like places like this that had regular investigators coming in and out. I always wonder, like, is there fatigue on the ghost side? Like, we're sick of you people, It's almost what that feels like. That he's getting across, like, you guys are playing around with this stuff. You need to stop or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a cemetery once. I got out and I got an EVP that said they're back. Like, it just makes you wonder, like, how frustrated they must get on the other end. And that sounded like a spirit on the other side, very frustrated with the paranormal groups coming in.
I would agree.
I would totally agree. Yeah.
I when I saw that, I missed that. My mind went to Stanley Hotel, and I should know it doesn't look like the Stanley, but the Shanley. I'll have to write that down. The Shanley Hotel.
Yeah, it's much
I've not
smaller.
heard of that one. Yeah.
It's fantastic. If you ever go, tell us. We're friends with the owner. It's fascinating. Really good place.
I'd love to. I don't get to go out very much more. Doing this show and meeting you guys, I get to live vicariously through you. All the great places you got to go to. All right, so we got another one here. Let's go ahead and play this one. Oh, I got to open the phone lines up. Sorry, guys, if you're trying to call in, I forgot to open the phone lines. They are open now.
Tony's my friend. I would agree.
Hmm.
Can you say Entity Voices?
So, people listening, some of those were harder to hear, but it mentions Bocce and Watch My Back. Is that what I saw there at the end?
Yep.
What do you think that's about?
Not sure, honestly.
Yeah, that's weird. That is
know.
weird. Like, sometimes I wonder, okay, I got to ask you guys this. Like, maybe you've noticed something like this or whatever, but there almost seems like there's some other like a spiritual police force. It's like, hey, stop that communicator over there. Like,
So
There-
in European
we-
ITC, in European ITC history, there is. Oh, go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
we believe there's universal laws, and
Yeah.
those universal laws lay into effect how much information they can give, what information they give. Because let's face it, if we all had all the answers here and now, it wouldn't make the experience and what we're supposed to learn from this life the same thing. So we believe that there are universal laws where they have to stop. And I think somebody like Bocce would be willing to push those a little bit. And that's why he'd say, you know, watch my back.
I gotta watch my back. Yeah. You know, I've always said it's never been the greatest about predicting the future, but then again, we've had some stuff. You can find the clips on my show, like even about Trump, Putin, the war in Ukraine that it made comments on, almost a year ago. Here we are. You know, I'm just saying, like, there's sometimes it does nail some stuff, you know, like in the future, like prediction-wise. But I think that's one of the rules they're not supposed to do. I swear that they try to, you know.
Yeah.
There's some kind of force, like a gatekeepers or somebody. It's like, well, hey,
Across the board, everybody's sessions that you listen to, certain questions they ask, it's always the same thing, like where they get stopped and it's like, you either get silence, weird sounds, tones, like, or you get that feeling like somebody's talking to them and telling them like, you know.
Yeah, in European ITC history, they believed that there were what's called the Seven. They were keepers of the communication bridge, and that they have ports of call for communication. Like they were using technology, and that they're governed. And like Tony said, there are certain things that maybe they are not allowed to tell us, and maybe it's for reasons of like the time traveler paradox, like for causality purposes, right? If you went back in time, killed your grandfather, you wouldn't have your father, therefore you wouldn't have you. So that may be why some people think why even when mediums get messages, they get, even if it's something that's like a prediction or a prophecy, that they get it through imagery or interpretation. Because if they're not getting messages about the future in the now, then they're not violating causality. But if they get clues and they figure it out, then the answer came from the now, not from the future. So it's interpretive.
It's interpretive. I get that. No, I get that. You know, I honestly, yeah, it could be. It could be a spiritual loophole in it. I just wonder sometimes. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. Is that, you know, the future's always in motion too. I think there's possible parallel futures and possible. We're right in a wave of quantum possibilities here. We could end up in another, you know, different timeline. Discovery, Robert Redford, that really gets into it. Not to spoil that movie, but but you know that the future is always in motion. That might be part of it too. But yeah, there does seem to be something that does want to interfere. And I've heard other people in the ITC feel, and people just experimenting with it, feel like something attacked them doing it. There's negative that can come from people, that maybe it's because their intent was wrong, their purpose wasn't wrong, or whatever. But there is some negative consequences sometimes when people delve into this.
Yeah, intent is super important to what kind of reaction you get.
Yeah, you know, like I said, you're part of the medium, your energy, your intent, and what you're doing. You know,
spot on.
It's I think it plays the biggest factor. That's why I think, like, I could sit here live on the show. We've done it where we play the spirit box and we talk about stupid stuff, and we really don't get anything. The most powerful stuff is when I got somebody that calls in, is really missing somebody, they're having experiences already with communication with them. You know, because I was just talking on the phone with a friend that's going through this, that lost somebody recently. That, you know, they're there. They try to reach out and communicate with you. They come on to my show. They call in, you know, do the spirit box, and we get some powerful stuff that'll come through sometimes because of that intent, because of that connection. You just can't willy-nilly, like, I'm gonna just talk to anybody, throw on the spirit box.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. Fantastical, right? What we're trying to do. Essentially, it's temporal synchronization. It's not line of sight contact with a cell tower and someone who's in the same plane. If it's whatever interdimensional or however it's being done, it's temporal synchronization. It's like trying to ride in a car next to another car at high speeds and handshake somebody and hold it.
Right.
Yeah. While you're going through a wormhole or something. I don't.
Right. With variables that you don't know, and that's that's one thing we didn't talk about, is that we only know maybe, if we're even correct on this, 30% of the variables. The other 70%, we don't know what they are, how they operate, and so it makes it challenging.
We do have somebody on the phone I want to get to, or on the phone line. 689 area code. Who do we got?
Jason, it's me. It's Ariana.
Hey, Zariana. Hey, yeah, you're here.
Hey. Yeah, this is amazing tonight. A couple of questions and maybe comments. When I've done the various spirit boxes, various apps and things like that, I have trouble getting, understanding exactly what the message is, what the words are. But this just clears it all up. I mean, in sentences, that's amazing to me. I'm so glad you guys did this. I'm wondering if this is going to be available for a computer, a phone, a tablet, anything else like that in the future. Because, like I said, I have issues with the white noise and with everything else like that, and the radio stations and stuff, So, but amazing. And if you guys come back and do a live thing, I'm definitely in.
Cool.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
I'd like Tony to speak to the possible commercialization or marketing of what we're doing with Staticom, because we have mixed feelings about it and the fact that it's perpetually in development.
Yeah, we have a 3-part docuseries coming out, hopefully very soon, that will talk literally from beginning to end of what we've done so far to create Staticom. As far as we didn't develop it to sell. This was not done to be a money maker. So will the information be put out for anybody that wants to take the time to acquire components, test, retest, test again, and try it out for themselves? Yeah, it will. It absolutely will be. But we're not here to make money from it. It's not. It was.
You can't put this into an app.
No, you cannot. That's the one thing that people have to understand is it's not a device. It's not a box. It is a method. And that method is far beyond flipping the switch on and off to a spirit box, which is all done for you. So it's understanding of frequency, of how we believe the spirits are communicating. But with enough time, can anyone do it? Yeah, we believe they can.
Yeah, just being an audio person, I see the programs you're running. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of it, I'm like, and so I'm really super excited to see the documentary and get into the real detail of what you're doing. Because I'd be one of those people that definitely would want to try to redo it or try to copy what you're doing and see if I get the same. Because that's what you got to do in science. You have to have other people peer review it and test it out. And you're not selling an app, you're not selling a device, you're not even selling a method. You know what I'm saying? You're giving that method out to people. Even if it is selling a documentary, it doesn't matter. You're still giving that ability for anybody to do it.
Correct.
I think that's amazing. Thank you, Zariana, for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Very nice call.
Yeah.
Now I say, you can't put this into an app. I do think there's a way. I mean, I was seeing some of the stuff you're doing. I do think there's a way it could be compartmentalized into a program, maybe not so much just an app on a phone. I think there is a way you guys could do it. But like you said, you're still tweaking it. You're still working on it. It's still a continuing method of learning, I guess, is what you're saying.
Well, the research isn't done, and the research will go on for years. So we decided that we were at a point that we thought we could release where we're at today, but does this mean it's at its end point? No. Like Ron said before, we don't even know the limitations of it. We don't know how far this thing can be pushed yet, and the research is far from done.
Yeah, there could be still another element that you haven't done yet that could take this to the next level. You
Yeah.
know, that's
Oh,
what's
I'm sure
exciting to
there's
me.
hundreds of them. Yeah, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
hundreds of them.
Well, that's another reason why I'm interested. I'd like to throw my creative mind into this, and give it an experiment and try myself eventually. So I'm really interested in hearing the techniques. I cannot wait for this documentary. Now we got another video here. Rob, you got I think a different one up. You want to play this one?
Oh yeah, this one was, I believe, my mom passed in 2019, and so I've asked for her from time to time. And this one, I believe somebody was telling her by calling her by name and telling her that I was asking for her. If my mom and grandmother can hear, can you say Florence and Lucy?
Is that that's the clip you talked about where you had to like slow it down, and that's when you realized you guys should just slow it down to start doing it?
That's actually not the one, but that one was
Right.
one of the things that made me think to keep asking for her. The one that she came through where I thought to slow it down, I didn't hear it when she came through, and
Right.
that's what made me think I needed to do it.
It sounds like it's somebody talking to. Is Florence your mom?
Yeah, that was my mother. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like somebody's trying to call her. Like, hey, Florence, your son is here
Yeah,
or
or like
something.
leaving a voice message or something.
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
answering message.
We've had that on here with some of the communication. Like it's like where somebody's calling out for their father or mother or somebody on the other side, and then it sounds like another voice coming through, like calling for them, like, "Hey, so and so," like we've had that on this show. It's interesting. All right, let's this next one we got here. Go ahead and play this one.
I care about energy that has the ability to influence your dream state, has the ability to influence a person.
The man. I heard silent the man. I'm just saying, because you're talking about that.
Yeah,
I heard silent the man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it knows I'm coming for it. It knows. It knows.
Oh, yeah, don't.
That's why this stuff I'm wearing has all been blessed. And so,
What'd you hear?
they are no protection. Jesus Christ says something different.
That's right.
So, let me look at the timestamp.
Yeah, so you can see it better. But yeah, I hear you.
That one's at 37 minutes. This one stopped recording because of the card's full. I have to empty the card in this one.
So, we've already been into one house in which an incubus attacked a woman. That's
So another one, kind of like that one's getting kind of religious there. Like talk about a priest.
Yeah, that guy was from New Orleans Paranormal Society, and he was doing what he said was a dark case, and he goes, "Oh, they know it's coming from, and they know I'm coming for it, whatever, and that's why all the stuff I'm wearing is blessed." And then it goes, "Those are no protection from evil. A priest is
Yeah.
protection."
Yeah, it's like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. That is some interesting replies, though. It's like, I remember Frank Sumption when he came up with the Frank's box. The one he didn't intend it totally for like spirit communication. He thought we could communicate with interdimensional entities, like that way consciousness or whatever. But he was never very much up about taking these things to haunted locations. If I remember from like his original interviews and stuff, when he talked about it, but that's kind of where it turned to, like people taking SB7s and going to these locations. But honestly, I mean, you guys do this in your home. You can do this anywhere and get
Correct.
any kind of communication.
Yeah, it's not restricted to a haunted location. I mean, we use it right here at home. We have never turned it on and not had communication. Not once, not ever. And so locality doesn't matter, and also shows you that just because you get voices doesn't mean the location you're in is haunted.
Right. That's one of the reasons as a paranormal investigator, like I'd have other investigators that were like, oh, let me bring out the SB7 or let me, or let's test out that new spirit box thing you were doing. I'm like, not on a residential. Because we're not there to see if it comes through a device. I want to see the ambient activity people are living in when you're doing a residential investigation. Haunted locations like that, or like a place that's like, like the Shanley that you were at, or any of these other haunted locations, I get using them at devices, but on like a residential, I don't think people should use these things. Like if you're investigating somebody's home, I really don't advise it. That's my opinion. And people do, and they do. That's fine. I just think on residential, like people living in a house, they have activity going on. This is not what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're honestly, I mean, you have to admit when you're doing this, you're giving yourself. Oh, good, you're getting it more zoomed in. You're getting yourself open to communication. And if you're in a place that people are like, oh my God, I'm scared to death, and you play something like this, and you're getting the communication, you're also opening up that doorway in their home more.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have had activity happen doing this, like stuff happening in your home. But I know me, Jamie, and Rob doing the live ITC shows have had some weird stuff after show happen. So my wife's like, you can only do it on when you do your show night. Because weird stuff. I literally woke up at 3 a.m. to my fire alarm going off, seeing smoke, and then there was no smoke, and the fire alarm, I don't know why it went off.
We get weird stuff going on all the time, regardless if we're doing the ghost.
And then it was the same night their alarms went off.
Yeah, what was weird is yours went off, and mine went off, and Jamie's went off.
Yeah.
And we're all three in different states.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is I don't want to go to the dark side. I don't like that everything's demon, from the obvious. Paranormal state kind of thing. No, I but when people, if they, you guys are going to get your documentary out there, people are going to start trying to do the method you're doing eventually. And I want to see that. But people have to understand, too, your intent is a big deal with this, and how you do it, it's not a toy.
Exactly. Great point.
I just want to wear it because I get, as you guys are paranormal investigators, I don't know if you had residentials. It's like, yeah, we had all this activity. I'm like, okay, let's talk about what happened. And, oh yeah, we pulled out the spirit box, where we pulled out a Ouija board, or, like they're playing around, and they found out. So I'm saying it's just a warning I have to give to people because I went through something dark. I had something dark attached to me when I was 18 that drove me to the brink. So there is a dark side. There is. I'm not going to deny that there isn't, and I want people to be aware of it. Like that guy, like the ghost is telling the guy, yeah, your stuff's not going to protect you.
Yeah.
There is some danger to this. There is, but I think there's something beautiful too that can happen. And I've seen it on the show, and you guys have seen it doing your sessions where people connect with their loved ones. That is glorious. That is beautiful. And I do want to see this move forward. I want to remind people your intent and what you do and why you're doing it is very important. Let's go ahead and play this next video.
Hi, Woody. How are you? I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you're good. You're speaking to me. I miss you too, I guess. I don't know who it is.
Does that name mean anything to her?
Yeah. So no. So this is what's funny. This was at the Massachusetts Paracon. That was a hotel room. I was running the system just to check for everything.
Yeah.
So this is going to give some context to it. That's quite funny. So I'm staring. I'm looking at your face and all that stuff. She
We're
just
gonna
came
play
out
it
of the
again.
shower. That was
Oh,
my
wow.
girlfriend Laura. She just came out of the shower, and this voice addresses her, and then she says, "Hi, how are you?" And then when it said, "I'm good, babe, love this bitch," she looked shocked because she didn't expect to come back with a real time response like that.
We'll let the spirit box say the explicitives. Just kind of cut the explicitives as you say them.
Okay.
Yeah. Just I try to keep it PG-13.
Oh yeah.
I'll
No,
let the spirit box do it.
If it wasn't in the clip, I wouldn't say it, but I hear you.
I know.
So that was very surprising and shocking to her when she asked for a name. Who are you? It said Avon Jennings, and from what I'm understanding is that there's a Jennings family that was associated with something to do with that part of Massachusetts, I think in the 1800s. So there is context to that as well, but that's real time.
Well, it sounds like a girlfriend, like, you know.
I love the vibe with it.
Right. It's like, it sounds like it's like her girlfriend or somebody other, like, hey there, you know, explicitive babe, and like saying things like it's like her friend. They're going. I want to play this one again. This is an interesting one. Try to
But
listen
she's
in, guys.
excited to tell the information.
I ordered.
Hi, how are you? I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you're good. You're speaking to me. I miss you too, I guess. I don't know who it is. You have to tell me who you are.
That I'm hungry, Lord. This is kind of creepy though. That gives my hair.
Yeah.
And she's in a bath towel, like coming out of the
Pretty much.
shower, kind of. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
weird vibe at the end there.
all right, honey. Let's go to sleep in the hotel room. You know. But it's like the way that the demeanor is in that, and I know for some people listening to radio it might have been hard to hear, but there's some explicitives in there, and I only allow the explicitives from the spirit boxes because we can't help that. But it's like it is, like it's like her best friend. And it's like, hey, babe, it seemed like really into her being there in the bath towel, probably. Something like that. That is awesome, though. That is awesome. How often do you use it? The device run.
I run Staticom and previously direct radio voice. Every week we run it at home at least once or so. And then where I work at lunch, I will find a quiet place a couple of days a week and able to test different things out. And I will record sittings as well, like in a quiet little office space where nobody is. So I do it a couple of times a week. I'm pretty consistent with it.
Who do you try to contact when you do?
In some instances, I'll target specific people like pioneers of ITC and EVP. In some instances, family. And sometimes I will let wherever I am and whoever's around speak to me, and I won't request anybody. I'll let what organically comes through.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming through that maybe isn't an ITC father, but like because some people, like I've heard doing that, spirit box will find a name that always comes through, or a spirit that seems to be helping them. They, like a guide or something like that. Do you have something like that you feel like coming through?
It's interesting you asked me that because it happened again tonight, and Tony doesn't even know this. We all met, Tony and I, and Lourdes and Cherie, and then our partners on our show, Chris and Audra. We met at the Montgomery House in North Carolina, where Chris and Audra run a very awesome place. And it was the first time the six of us were all in the same room. For weeks before that, Lourdes and I at home and at locations kept getting James. We said, James who? James Patterson. Didn't mean anything to us. We asked Chris and Audra when we got to North Carolina, does that have anything to do with this location? They said, nope, it doesn't ring a bell. So we do a walkthrough before dinner, and then we're going to go back after dinner and set up and investigate. While we're doing the walkthrough, we get upstairs to what used to be one of the bedrooms, and Audra points at the wall, and she goes, and then Lourdes gasped, and on the wall was a pilot named James Patterson. Why that was funny that you asked me that tonight was we did a digital seance event after our lecture presentation here in Lilydale, and we kept hearing James again, and we said, James who? And a room full of people heard James Patterson.
Wow. You saw their picture? Was it like a picture of the pilot and like that was their name? And
yeah, he was in uniform. It was taken probably before the war or getting ready to go out to the war. But yeah.
Wow, that name sound. I mean,
like that happening before, where people have focused so much about going to a location that a presence or an energy from that location has actually contacted them ahead of time.
Yep. We had no knowledge of that name prior to that. And then when we saw it on the wall, and then that night at the Montgomery house, and they played it on our show, laughing at me, and justly so, because I came a little unraveled. I turned on Staticom, and within 30 seconds, I heard James Patterson, and you hear me coming down the stairs, footsteps going, dun, dun, dun. I'm going, no way, no effing way, no way, no way, no way.
Yeah, it just there's personalities, there's people, there's spirits on the other side. I feel like that connect with you, and you end up they try to help you. Maybe you have a connection as a spirit guide or a soul group or something that comes through and makes continuing communication. Besides the founders like Bachi and Radovev, that there's going to be other spirits that you're going to start finding that are continuing to communicate. You got another video clip in particular you want him to play yet?
You can go back to one of mine. Oh, okay.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, back out of this one. Yeah. Hold on, Rob. Go back to the list. Oh, it ain't gonna let you do the full screen. I know you're trying. I think you had, but go.
Which one? Tony?
Which one would be? Yeah, which one, Tony?
I don't remember what he played last. I think it was the Easter one. I think was the last one he played. I can't read the titles, though.
I know.
Did he play the John B. Knowles yet?
No, he hasn't played that.
What's that titled? Is it titled that?
I think he played the first three, and I think that was it.
I don't think we've done this one.
I like this one.
All right, go ahead and play this one. Oh, no audio.
All right, can I ask to speak with someone? Yes. I would like to speak with my grandfather, John Bryce Knowles. Is he around?
Yep.
He's talking. Hello, Grandpa. This is your grandson, Tony.
Father.
Howdy, Tony. Did I hear that right? Grandpa John, is that you? Yes. You taught me so much about this when I was younger, but I was too young to understand. How is life on the other side?
there's almost something like underlying that, like something almost trying to talk between the clips where it kind of comes in and the stronger signal, but there is like a voice in the background. It's like I almost want to like take it, slow it down more, and like listen to that voice in the background.
I think I heard Tony's name a few times.
Me too.
in there,
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so much in the background, and remember that this is already fine-tuned. We've taken out hundreds of voices, if not more, to be able to pinpoint.
Doing like a noise reduction, or
there's noise reduction. There's all sorts of things, but
yeah,
the main thing is frequency adjustment.
Gotcha.
Because the amount of voices literally is just overwhelming.
A sea of voices. I mean, maybe that is what white noise is. It's just a sea of voices, of spirit. I always felt like, because I've done tarot and we've, with the randomness of spirit box apps, and I always feel like there's part of this communication is stochastic resonance, but there's another thing in randomness, I think, too. Something in the realm of, of we don't know, like, you pull a tarot card and it's a random act. And it ends up being the right message for that person at that time. Or, it just seems like there's something in the act of randomness, too, that is at play here in the communication. Maybe getting it random white noise, all these clips of white noise, random audio. I know you don't think they're manipulating it, but it just seems like there's something, like it's like the cat in the box, the Schrodinger thing, like live or dead. Like if anything's that question of existence, or it seems like somehow there's some power in that with spirit communication. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just something I've always wondered. We got a little bit more time before our last commercial break here. What other video we haven't played yet? I'm trying to look at his screen. It's hard for me to tell too. That one?
Yeah, it was murder. Harlot at Kingsland, something.
Want to try that one? That one you're on right now, I don't think we've played.
Okay.
I will tell you before this one, Harlot at Kingsland was direct radio voice. There was no software. All the stuff we're doing now with Staticom, this was only white noise on a barren long wave channel, and it was coming through a portal box that had a little reverb. That's it. This is pre-software, and one of the reasons I love this is because it shows people that the vocals come through. The software is just an enhancement to the process, but it's not the facilitator.
Gotcha. Yeah. This is a good example then. All right, good.
That's what we were running right there. You're looking at it.
Yeah. It was earlier during setup. It happened briefly while Warren was recording.
That was straight white noise or straight DRV, right, Ron? Yeah.
Yep. There's no software at all.
And the message there, it seems like it's trying to tell somebody, like, hey, come check this out. This is insane. like they're like marveled over the communication device or something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then what place was that taken at?
Kingsland Manor in Nutley, New Jersey. I think they showed it on the new rendition of Psychic Kids when they did it.
Oh,
like season 2 or something. They did an episode from Kingsland Manor.
I don't think you've played Energy of the Mind. This one answers your question about getting an answer before you finish speaking.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Go ahead and play that one. I think we got time before the commercial break.
Do you hear me speak?
Wow.
Play that again. Play that one again.
How do you hear me speak?
We call
That's
it death.
so
Energy
like
of your mind is a thing. Yeah.
That's like
You go ahead, Rob.
It's like a direct answer. Like a, you know.
Oh yeah. No, completely. And it's not like you're waiting for the answer. Like, what's it going to say? You know, it answers you right away. It says, you know, we call it death, energy of the mind. And, you know, when you hear people talk about near-death experiences or communication with spirit through like a dream or something like that, a lot of times they don't see their mouths moving. My experience I've had this, where they're telepathically communicating with you. Energy of your mind.
Yeah, that's a perfect example when you're talking about that you'd get a response to an EVP before you even finished asking the question. It's because they're not hearing us through the vocals. It's not a sound wave. They're literally, it's consciousness. I mean, without consciousness, there is no paranormal. Conscious has to survive. Consciousness absolutely has to, or there is nothing to study. So that's the whole way they're interpreting what we're thinking.
And it explains why it works like on a show like this when we do it live, when we got people from all parts of the world, and it's hearing Rob in Florida and me in Indiana and Jamie in California. It's hearing us all, you know, because it's not hearing us. It's connected to our joint minds on this show, you know. It's hearing our thoughts and our callers' thoughts.
Yep, it's the Akashic Records is what it's creating.
Well, you know, like I mentioned before about Frank Sumption, you know, his original intent was like to communicate with like interdimensional entities or consciousness or whatever. I mean, how much do you think beyond talking to the spirits that you're communicating with something else too that is interdimensional or not a human spirit?
It's absolutely possible. There's no reason why you couldn't be. I mean, like Ron was saying about Frank Sumption, his original audience was aliens. Mm-hmm. But, you know, people who have been abducted say, well, their mouths weren't moving, but I could hear everything they were saying.
Exactly.
So why couldn't Staticom do the same? Why couldn't it do the same for creatures like Bigfoot or multidimensional creatures? We don't know the limitations of it. We have no idea yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dogman encounters, so many of them involve somebody seeing this thing, staring them down, and, like, it telling them things in their mind, like, you should go away, you know, or whatever. But, like, there's, like, this telepathic communication. People have had that with Bigfoot. That's a good point. And aliens, especially. I mean, we're talking about consciousness. Anything's possible.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely correct.
I mean, I even think about, like, Edgar Casey, you know, the sleeping prophet. Would go into that state and they would talk to him. We wouldn't remember what he would say, but they're talking to some kind of super consciousness or higher self of him or some kind of entity through him. You know, there's a lot of different channels and methods that we could use, you know, as you guys develop this, could start communicating with some kind of, I don't know, I mean, something interdimensional, you know, something that's a higher being, maybe. If you could tune into that frequency, maybe, I don't know. But that something would come through.
We've had contact that I was calling Ron middle of the night going, I don't know what this is. I don't know what the machine's doing. You know, what is this? He's like, just let it play through. But we were getting voices. I don't know what they were or where they were coming from.
What were they saying? That's the important part. Like, what do you think of the messages you were getting that were making it?
There was only one message that could be interpreted, and that message was power amulet. And I went through every electronic component I could find to figure out what a power amulet was, and it had nothing to do with any type of electronics. It was this.
Hold on. Let me get to show you on the screen. What is it?
This around my neck, and I have not taken it off. That was how long ago, Ron?
Yeah, it was quite some time ago, and it's included in the documentary, the clip when he heard it. I mean, it's pretty clear. And then Tony became a jewelry maker in no time.
Overnight.
Yeah, power amulet, huh? Well, it shows that they see you, too. I mean, one of the things I wondered, too, we're going to come on a commercial break, and we can get this when we come back the last half hour, is what are your thoughts on experimenting with stuff like this, combining it with like video loop feedback?
I've done video feedback loop stuff before, and we got a couple really astounding things with doing it. We stopped doing it for a while because we were running it concurrently with direct radio voice, and it was distracting. Like, we would be going through images on our phones while the radio was playing and the voices are coming through, and we're not paying attention, or we have to separate these things because it can't happen at the same time. If you want, we can do it after the break, but I have a theory, I believe, what has to do with, we've asked the color of the couch, what color is my shirt, what am I pointing at, and we've gotten direct answers before, and I have a theory which has to do with consciousness, which I believe is how they're able to do that.
I know, Tony was talking about how you guys will do stuff, and we've done these experiments too, where like one person on another end of the phone in another part of the world is looking at a number or word or whatever, and then the spirit comes back and says it on a device in another part of the world. You know, like you're talking.
I'll give
like
you the.
that.
I don't want to go into the theory now if you need to take a break, but I will tell you that the last digital seance that Tony did, we ran concurrently the same night in New Jersey when he was in Arizona, and I asked how many attendees he had, and I didn't talk to him until the next day, and I said how many people showed up to the event, and the number that I got was the exact same number of people who showed up.
He nailed it.
I mean, time and space does not matter in this realm when you start getting into it. Obviously, like
no, and that's what's funny because people go, "What frequency did the ghosts talk on?" So it's funny to me because frequency is oscillations or cycles of time. So if they don't have linear time like we do, then how do you have a measure of frequency the way we know it?
Right.
If you don't have the same measure of time.
I mean, think about when two people talk to each other. They've done studies of people correspond or in with the same room with each other and talk to each other, that their brains actually sync up. That's two human beings. You know, we live in the same realm and dimension and everything, but when you're trying to sync up to something that's in another realm on the other side, there's got to be a lot more in play here to kind of reach that frequency. We're going to go to our last commercial break. We'll continue that conversation because I want to hear your theory when we come back with our guests, Tony Rathman and Ron. Am I getting your name wrong? How do you say your last name?
It's Yacovetti, and Tony
Yacovetti.
has a version of it also.
Yacovetti. I'm the king butcher of names, so I apologize. Yacovetti, I will butcher it all night long. So sorry. I apologize.
I still struggle with it.
All right, guys, we're going to our last commercial break. We'll come back, and the phone lines will be back open when we come back from this commercial break. Join us with our guests, Tony Rathman, Yacovetti. We're talking about Staticom project. We're talking about ITC. We're going to have these guys back on. I guarantee it. We're going to get them back on, and we're going to do a live test of this and have you call in and try it. We'll get these guys scheduled for that. We got a half hour left. We'll be right back.
Intercepted the transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated. I don't want to hear it.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now. Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Heat 'em up. Do, re, Egon.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID Jblandoo or Jblandparanormalsoup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guests have been Tony Rathman and Ron Yacovetti. They are working on the Staticom project. This is, for people, if you're joining really late, you missed a lot, but we might play a couple more videos they had that they give us of the evidence, how this thing works. And if you've ever watched the show, we've done spirit boxes and apps and all this stuff. This is way different. This is going back almost to the founding of it, using just white noise, no voice banks, no radio, no switching channels. It is white noise, digital white noise, that they've modulated, and they're getting messages. They are getting sentences. They are getting replies to their questions back and forth. Some amazing results. We are definitely going to get these guys scheduled to come on and do a show where you guys get to call in and see if this Staticom will respond to you, which I think it will. We've seen it do with the regular Spirit Boxes apps. I think it's going to be an amazing show when we have these guys on. No promises. We never know what'll happen. Paranormal happens live here or it doesn't. You never know on this show. A lot of weirdness does happen. Got about half an hour left. Let's go ahead and get back to our guest. All right, phone lines are back open if you want to call and ask a question. I know some of you guys are like, oh, why did you have them do the Spirit Box? I knew we had a lot of stuff to cover tonight with how they do this device and the evidence. They have a lot that they gave me. So I was like, we'll hold off on trying to do anything live with this yet. Because I really wanted you guys to get to explain it and get to show your evidence that you've collected so far. Which, Rob, I don't know if you got to bring up I do want to play at least one more or two more videos I think we still have yet in there. But I want to get to you, Ron. You have a theory you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so one of the things that we find fascinating, well, two things that fascinated me about all this stuff, even from direct radio voice pre-Staticom, was how were they hearing us? If we're not broadcasting out with a transceiver, how is this mechanical sound wave made by our larynx that only propagates so far till the air's cohesiveness thins it out? How is it getting to somebody who's not in our physical environment? That confused me, and that was something I wanted to try to figure out. When we ask about observable things, the color of the couch, the color of the shirt, what am I holding, what am I pointing at, and we get direct answers, we know that physical matter and things like the rods and cones of our eyes will process data from like the vibrations of like the color blue or red. We don't know how they're getting that to give us accurate answers. What I think is it's tied to the kind of concept where people say that we're spiritual beings having a human existence, which in itself is kind of embedded in our language, right? Nobody ever says, I am a body. They say, I have a body. Who has a body? The you does. And I think through consciousness is how they're able to give us those answers that are visible things in our environment. And I think what it is, it goes back to the Akashic or collective consciousness concept where they're grokking that information through our sensory input. I see and process the color red the way I do based on its vibration and how it hits the rods and cones or sound vibrations and what I'm able to detect. And that's part of the collective consciousness through our self-egoic experience being a tributary of the greater mind. I think that gives them access to it. And so I think that's where they're possibly attaining visual information.
One way you could test that is if you did like a kind of like what they do in remote viewing. You could make or randomize folders or something that you can't physically see and be like, can they see that? Have somebody pull it out and not look at it or whatever. Nobody's consciously seeing whatever you just chose randomly and get them to see if they can respond and say what it is. That'd be one way to test that theory.
We have tested that not with color but with words. We had somebody in the audience write a word on a piece of paper. Only they knew the word. It was placed way in the back, completely away from the audience, and yet the word came through the device.
But they knew the word. What I'm saying is to have a random where nobody knows the word that was picked.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yep. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, try that. I want to know what happens with that. Because it's kind of what they do in remote viewing.
Yep.
That'd be interesting to see. All right, let me pull up the share screen here. Because we've kind of done that before. Because I'll have Zener cards, and we've done that and see if it'll because the audience will try to see what the Zener card is, and I've done it where I've not looked at it either, and we've asked the Spirit Box to see if they could say what it is, and I don't know if we've really gotten a result with that or not, but I've tried, but that's why I'd be interested to see if it actually is able to. Is it seen through our eyes and our consciousness, like you say? I think that's a very big possibility. But the way I can see us figuring that out is that kind of experiment. All right. What video have we not played yet? I see several, I think. You guys, can you see any in particular we haven't played yet you want to try?
Your instrument one on the bottom is fairly recent. I had a technical problem the one night. I was getting these pulsing, vibrating kind of a sound. I fixed it. And then after I fixed it, I asked the spirits what was going on, what happened, and they spoke specifically to the problem, which was I was kind of blown away when I heard it.
Okay.
There's no sound.
Yeah, no sound. I was waiting to see. Oh, because you're muted, Rob. There you go.
To Tony and Cherie. Maybe they're trying to connect. And since it's doing another,
I'll let it play out for a minute.
I'm gonna message her now. If that's you trying to connect to Tony and Cherie, please keep doing your thing then.
What happened here? What happened to us? Sorry about that.
I could hear that. And it's like, it's the voice. It cuts right in. Like it shuts down the background noise. If you play that again, see if you can fast forward to the point where he responds to that last statement. You'll hear that.
Tony and Cherie, please keep doing your thing then.
What happened here? What happened to us? Sorry about that.
Your instrument appears to carry a pulsing beat, bad connection. I mean, that's a full statement. Stop.
Right.
I did a video.
Yeah, complete timing and relevance. And that was the night shortly after that happened that we asked how many attendees Tony had at his event, and he gave us that. It was the same night.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What are you going to say, Rob?
I did can't remember where I was at. I think I was in a graveyard or something, but I had done a thing using a spirit box, and it kept saying bad connection recording.
Yeah.
And all these weird words. And I'm like, what the hell, And then when I reviewed it, I had no audio, but I was hearing it in real time.
Oh, wow.
It's like telling you, it's trying to tell you you're not recording.
Yeah, it was telling me, and I just didn't,
That's crazy.
You know what? I've always been interested. One of the first major EVPs I got was in reverse. The guy who kind of taught me, Mike McDowell, he was like, if you ever get something that's really clear that comes through, like you hear a vocalization and it's really clear and it comes through, but it doesn't make any sense, try playing it in reverse and see if it says anything. And I had this one really incredible investigation I was on early on, like 2008. And this voice came through between two investigators and me talking, and it's like, my name's Tilly Cup or something like that, but really loud and clear. And I'm like, but that makes no sense. I don't know what it's saying. So I tried it in reverse, and it goes, can you hear me, mommy? And my mind's been boggled with that ever since. Is how does a spirit leave a message in reverse? And then you talk about when they leave messages, they're super fast. They come through. It's like they maybe they're going at a different speed than us, or maybe they're going in reverse time. It's just like whatever they're trying to get through. It's like there's a number of factors in time and space they must have to manipulate to make this happen.
Yeah, we don't know if they're coming through faster because they're thinking or speaking, however they contact faster, or if it's just coming through faster in contact with either 0 point energy, the wave function of the photons of light.
Yeah.
But something is speeding it up, and just like when we do a phone call, it could be like a full duplex system, like a half duplex is walkie-talkie, one channel, one at a time, same channel. Full duplex is same two-way at the same time, and so it's possible that maybe messages can go back both ways, and it could come through, which for us would be reversed, but maybe for them when they transmitted it, it wasn't.
Right. I've always been fascinated. What were the dynamics that went into that EVP I recorded so long ago? What makes a child like that speak in reverse? What's going on here? how does that happen? What are we dealing with? The space time? It's just always boggled my mind. I've used that as an example when I've done EVP like review.
And think about this:
people at,
reverse or backwards for us is an aversion of time, right? It's taking time as we know it linearly and flipping it backwards, going, oh, it plays in reverse. But if they don't have time space with linear fashion the way we do, then there is no reverse. It's just
There
the
is
message.
no reverse, right? Exactly.
Right. That's what's so fascinating about that. That whole concept to me. Well, I think there's a couple on the bottom there we haven't played yet. I can't read it. My screen's too small. That one, maybe? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
All right, spirits. I know you're here. I know you're talking, and I appreciate that very, very much. Can you do me a favor? Can you say Anthony Rathman? Spirits, can you please do me a favor and say for me again? I heard you say it. Can you say Anthony Rathman? Thanks, Tony. I heard Anthony. I didn't hear Rathman. Rathman.
That's clear as day.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you hear it? Dylan didn't hear it. Can you say hello, Dylan, really loud and really clear? Can you say for me, please? I greatly appreciate it. Can you say hello, Dylan? What day is today, spirits? Do you know? Hello?
After she responded the first couple times, it almost sounded like she was saying something too, like, I like this, or this is nice, like hearing your words.
I did hear that in there. It's funny. I didn't realize that since it's one. This is early on. This is before we cleaned half of it up. That was an old one, but still had good responses in it.
Yeah, I even thought I heard there's a lot of spirits here. I thought I heard that in there. I swear to God, I heard that. And you got to think. I mean, I was telling somebody is that when spirits are trying to communicate with us, I think all the time. We're just not listening most of the time. And you got to imagine they if you come up with a way to communicate and you're getting stronger and stronger, that's becomes known on the other side. And there might be a waiting list of people trying to get through to you guys.
Yeah, that I believe.
Yeah.
You wonder what the dynamics are. I mean, it's just like a medium. I mean, you hear some of these prominent mediums talking. I have friends that are mediums. It's like they have their spirit guides to kind of like coordinate and line the spirits up to talk to the next person. Like there are people waiting in line. Makes you wonder when you're doing this. Are there other like is Bocce over there saying, "Okay, hold on, your turn next," or somebody's helping.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We got another one here.
I love hearing the excitement too when you can tell it's like their first time kind of hearing this technology also.
Yeah.
And the spirits kind of tripping out on it. It's kind of a special experience you're having together with them at that moment.
Yeah, you'll actually hear something that fits what you just said, Jamie, in this clip perfectly.
Oh, awesome. All right, go ahead and play.
Hey, Anthony Rathman. Tony, I heard Tony. I'm assuming our spirit lives on. Yes. How long are we in the other life? Do we have the choice to come back and live again here on Earth? Yes. Is it easy to communicate with this direct radio voice method? Richie, I heard someone say Richie. Yes, okay. Will you share information with me, please?
You can stop that when I think I sent the whole clip. You don't need to play it.
Spirits, I don't mean to test you with boring questions. But can you tell me my wife's name? Can you show me how to make this so I can hear you clearer? Am I speaking with spirit? How many spirits are with me?
You can stop that clip. I don't think I sent that one cut down.
Oh, this is all right. Go ahead, stop it, Rob. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there, Tony.
Oh, it's like I said, it's, Thomas Edison talked about creating a phone to the dead.
Right.
This is as close as I think has ever been accomplished. I mean, I can speak and the answer comes back, and that happens every time we turn it on.
This is definite direct spirit communication.
Correct.
That you mentioned Thomas Edison. I mean, he was shut down. He had an interest in this, but his financiers were very Christian.
Correct.
And shut him down, and nobody knows whatever happened to his device. You have Tesla, who actually thought he was trying to communicate with people on Mars. But I've been a big, huge Tesla fan, and Tesla obviously was getting electromagnetic realm and experimenting. So some of the greatest minds have been trying to tap into this in the early ages of us discovering radio and electromagnetism and getting into this, the pure beginning of the science of it. The top minds felt there was something there.
Marconi in the first transatlantic communications got voices that he couldn't explain.
Oh yeah, yes, I've heard that before too.
Yep.
There's like I said, these great minds knew there's this possibility of being able to communicate through this. I wonder, as you guys keep tweaking this. I mean, like you said, there's you're trying to narrow in on the signal or on the voice, particular voices. What'll happen if you do get this to a point where it is just beyond a doubt? Where will you guys go with that? Where you really are we turn it on, and I mean, I don't think you can ever control what's going to come through, but when you turn it on, you're getting the complete full-on conversation.
I know they're getting up already.
Yeah, there's a certain level of control, like Tony mentioned before, that we don't have from the other side. And people will say that are skeptical. Well, if this works, why don't you just 100% of the time? Why does it always work? First of all, our success ratio is pretty damn high. Second of all, with just communication with other humans, right? If I pick up my electromagnetic device, my phone, and I call my father 10 times today, that scientific standard of repeatability in threes, which Marcello Bacci did. But let's say, just for the cynical purposes, just to show you that that's not a fair measure of something like spirit communication where there's intelligence implied. If I call my father 10 times and he picks up once, right? I have a 90% fail ratio. I haven't done it 3 times in a row. So by that standard, he doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that takes free will out of the equation. Your phone rings. You ever get a call and you go, oh, I can't talk to this guy now. I'll never get off the phone. Or you're in a cell signal that's dead. Or you call him and he's in the bathroom and he can't pick up the phone. So there's so many factors involved in this besides just being able to do it. So when people get that cynical about it, I mean, slow down. There's a lot of factors that you're not taking into account here.
Right.
I think what will be big for you guys is once you get your documentary out and then you have more people learning how to do this method and start doing it and getting those same results. I think that's where this will really blow up for you guys.
Well, one of the things that's helping us out with this is people like you guys who are kind enough to have us on to talk about it and share it and support it. And I can't thank you enough for being a part of this. And I will tell you that one of the best decisions I have ever made since I've been doing this was having Tony and Sri Rathman as part of what we're doing, because in a very short period of time after he got involved, we already saw advancement and improvement. So this is exciting for us. So I'm very grateful that you have us here to do this.
Yeah, we do appreciate it, and thank you, Ron. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like I said, I was like, when I first saw your guys' video, I saw Tony, you were posting some stuff and we were friends on Facebook. I'm like, okay, I got to get these guys on the show. I got to find out more about this because, like I said, there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing. And I mean, a lot of people doing Spirit Box ITC, but like getting into this realm of like trying to like just enhance it, try to get to a better place of communication. What can we do to make this easier for them? I feel a lot of times, we talked about this with other ITC researchers, is that we're making it harder for them just to make it provable sometimes.
True.
Yeah, and provability is such a fluid definition, too, because there are people that if Bigfoot handed them their car keys, they still wouldn't believe in them. When bias is in the driver's seat, it doesn't matter what you do. I'm not, I get the whole peer review thing, and I'm on board with that to a certain degree, but I'm not in this mob rules thing where if a committee of people have to come together to tell me that the hearing that I've been using my whole life to get to this point at this age is suddenly fallible when I'm talking about paranormal stuff. And now I need a group of people to come out and deliberate to whether or not I'm hearing what I've been able to hear my whole life. Because that's what they say. It's pareidolia, it's warbles, it's sound artifacts and stuff like that. But it only seems to happen when it's spooky stuff. Like I don't go to work and they go, "You're fired." They go, "What? A raise? That's fantastic." That never happens. But if my hearing was as bad as they make you think it is, you think that would be something that happened all the time.
I know.
Right. And it would. It would occur on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and it doesn't. So
it's responding directly to your questions. It's, and it's not waiting for it for a minute or two to garble something up for you to imagine it saying something. No, it's responding right away.
Yeah.
And some of the responses, it might be a struggle for listeners on my radio here, but some of these responses tonight were completely clear. I think they could hear them.
And with white noise and pure data, no data at all, none of them should be there.
Right. You shouldn't hear any voices. There should be no voices there.
There should be nothing there, but there is.
Yeah, explain the voice at all, because some of those voices are so clear. They're undeniably words being said by a voice in white noise. There's no explanation for that.
There is a brilliant audio engineer who's an ITC practitioner named Joshua Shawn, who did one of the many testimonials for the documentary. And when he's done breaking down the validity of what this Staticom project is doing, and somebody who's got an engineering degree in audio still has questions, they might want to rethink career choices, because he leaves no stone unturned. Added to that, by the way, I understand that there are people like that who have behavioral expertise in how sound performs, how you produce it, how it behaves. But we have, with Lourdes on our side, a court reporter who by trade listens to linguistics and vocalizations at different cadences, speeds, tones, and people talking over each other. So she's very good at recognizing speech in the most obscure scenarios.
That's an important tool to have, be able to do that.
Yeah, I won't say anything bad about her if she's within 5 miles, because she'll hear it.
but she is. She can pick apart overlapping sentences and tell you what each one said, because she's used to that when the lawyer's screaming and the other lawyer screaming and the defendant saying something. I mean, she's got to pick that all apart, and she's done that for years. So when we're doing audio review, she is key to that process.
Oh, I bet. Well, as I say, I have like the guys in the audience, they'll be chiming in when we're doing the live ITC with what they're hearing. I have some really good ears out there. So when we get to have you guys back on for a live test, I'll be really interested to see what they pick up, because I'm hearing things that you guys aren't tagging in there too. I mean, so is Jamie and Rob. I know you guys are, because we've been listening to this stuff, But same time, you got to go. There's the voices you're tagging are like they are coming in, and like I almost feel like they cut the audio half the time. Like they come in, they're definitely the overpowering signal. The ones you're tagging.
Yeah. Correct.
But it is interesting what else as you get better at fine tuning this, how more direct that's going to get. I really feel like you guys are on the cusp of something. You're still fine tuning it.
Yeah, we are. And it'll be a while. It'll be years before we feel like, and it may be longer than that. Like I said, we don't know the depth of it. We don't know where the limitations are. We don't know what the outreach of it is. We may never finish it in our lifetime. I don't know, but it's a great place to be at. I can say that.
So one of you have entityvoices.com is the website.
Staticom is up on the website. Ron and I also have a YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube, put in Staticom, it'll come up. Ron's got his Jblandparanormal site. I've got Tony Rathman on Facebook, Entity Voices on YouTube. So we've got channels of our own stuff as well as our mixed stuff.
And do you guys do any kind of public events with this? Like, it sounds like you're doing some, when you're doing like the ghost hunts or anything, people would be able to check you guys out if they're in you're in their area.
Yeah, like Ron was saying, they do the digital seance initiatives. I think you were doing one this weekend, right? Or that's where you're at right now.
The Lilydale,
right, yeah. Our last one was done a couple of weeks ago. That was the one Ron was saying they picked the number of attendees that we had, and they had it right. But yeah, we will do those. Sheree and I are going to relocate to the East Coast, so we probably won't have too many more on the West Side, but definitely keep your eye open for the documentary because it'll be out hopefully soon.
Is it going to be able to get on like Amazon Prime, or where would people be able to find it?
We don't have that narrowed down yet,
okay,
but we'll definitely announce it when we have picked where it's gonna show.
When you do, let me know too, because I'll make sure I get it posted on our Midwest Paranormal Presents Facebook page for people to see that.
Thank you.
Because I know people are going to want to definitely see this. I want to thank you guys so much for being on. I will get back to you guys this week with a date for you, or try to find a date for you guys both to come back on, and we'll give it a shot live. No promises. That's what I always say when we do ITC. We never know what's going to happen. When people call in, we might get a connection, you might not. We don't know. But I'm really, really excited about having you guys try this live on the show, because we've had some really already awesome experiences doing this, and I think it's going to be amazing when you guys do this live.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Definitely can't wait to see the documentary comes out. And what is the name of the documentary set?
It's actually right behind me. It's the banner behind me. It's called Knowingly Talking to the Unknown.
Knowingly Talking to the Unknown. Okay, yes, keep your eye out for that. Yeah. There you go.
There he goes. Tony was kind enough to, the title was derived from, I have 3 books on Amazon. The first one was Paranormally Speaking, Knowingly Talking to the Unknown. So that's where the title came from. The second one's ITC Technomancy, and then the third one's Digital Seance Initiative. Book 4 is in the works right now. There's Tony Rathman wrote part of it. I got him to contribute to it, which was awesome. The foreword is written by Johnny Zaffis.
Oh, awesome! So I definitely got to check out your books then too. I got to check. I like technomancy. I like that term. So I definitely got to check out your books too. So thank you guys so much. That is it for the show. Definitely, we're going to get you back on again. But that's it, guys. Next week, we will have guest Stephen Chung. He's the author of The Afterlife, A Journey To. We're going to be talking more about the afterlife next Sunday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central, 11 p.m. 2 a.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. 11 p.m. Pacific time. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. And keep telling your friends about Paranormal Soup. Open forum, place where we can all talk about the paranormal weird experiences we live every day, with no judgments or fear, and where the paranormal happens live. All right, guys, have a great night. See you next Sunday.